And if you're just now tuning in your live, you're in the Sit Down, a sports and entertainment show covering your Buffalo Bills, your Buffalo Sabres, and all Buffalo sports, as well as the entire world of sports and entertainment topics with regard to all things daily entertainment with your host, the Sauce God. Tonight, Ramparts Hockey and T-Bone. This is going to be a special show, ladies and gentlemen, as we have live round one coverage for all of these things, as well as things to keep y'all entertained. So if you don't mind, hit us with a like and a share. Join us in the comment section. Make sure you're following, like, and subscribe with those notifications turned on so you don't miss any of the up-to-date news for the Buffalo Bills and all the entertaining content for the world of sports. We're going to have you covered for bets tonight as well, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be here in just a few more moments as we get ready for round one of the NFL Draft. You're live here in the Sit-Down, presented by Duff's Miss Wings and, of course, BuffaloSauceGod.com. Yes, we are here in the Sit Down. Of course, I'm the Sauce God, your host of this entertaining show right here on Facebook and YouTube and on X, formerly known as Twitter, and also available via audio podcast. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to bring in my co-host here in just a few more seconds. But if you haven't already done so, hit us with a like and a share. Join us here in the comment section because this is round one of the NFL Draft. It can sometimes be unexciting, but we all know we're itching to find out who the Bills are going to select in round one, as well as all of these other teams, because this is when you get yourselves better and you build yourself a championship team. And this is a crucial draft for the Buffalo Bills. So Bills Mafia, let's get fucking hyped. Let's bring in my first co-host, back on here, my best friend, the T-Bone himself, Mr. Scatter. How the heck are you doing, buddy?
Tony the Bull, how's it going?
Tony the Bull is ready to fucking rock and roll. Timmy, of course, I know you're a Ravens fan, but of course you support, you support the Buffalo Bills and you support Bills Mafia. So,
Western New York, you got to.
And just tell me here, Timmy, the Bills, are they going to trade up or are they going to trade down real fast?
Trade up, baby.
I think so too. And ladies and
I
gentlemen,
think the over-under, I think there's over 2 or 3 trades tonight. Definitely 2.
Oh, definitely. And let's go ahead and bring in the other co-host, the hockey man, the Sabres fucking biggest fan, and the guy that has honestly been here in the show predicting move after move with me and rewriting the Sabres fucking future with myself right here in the Sit Down. Let's bring in Ramparts Hockey. Mr. Tyler, how are you doing, sire? Welcome back into the Sit Down. How you doing?
What's going on? Thank
Well,
you guys for having us have a sit down here tonight. I just want to say thank you to all
the
the
got the
fans
mini
out
mic.
there.
Nice.
And
Boys got the mini mics.
Yeah, got the mic too.
Yeah. And let's have a good NFL 2024 draft.
Of course, and it's going to be 2024 NFL round one of the NFL Draft, and you're going to be hearing this sound. You're going to be hearing that sound quite a bit as we will keep you up to date with all of the picks as they come in. We will evaluate those said picks and what we think of those. We'll talk about the team's biggest needs that are up on the board as well and what we think. And we're going to give you guys some entertaining topics as well. We're going to talk about who would win in a fight, this and that. And I also am going to discuss with my brother over here, Timmy, about what we think that our teams need to do to get over the hump of the Kansas City Stupid. Because we're both, hey, he's a Ravens fan. We're Bills fan. Boom. We got to find a way to get over Patrick Ketchup. So how are we going to do it? It starts here today with the draft. Breaking news did just come in before the draft is underway. This is the first thing. This is not regarding the draft necessarily, but A.J. Brown and the Eagles have agreed to a 3-year extension for $96 million that includes $84 million guaranteed. And, of course, he just signed a big contract with the Titans before he was traded. But, hey, this is a guy that obviously has big playmaking ability. Let's take a look at some of these comments real fast. Let's go, Buffalo. Let's go. I appreciate that very much, guys. Join us here in the comment section and make sure you hit that like and a share. This is the Sit Down right here, presented by Duff's Miss Wings, the best damn chicken wings. Remember that medium is hot, and you don't have to ask for them extra crispy. They always come perfect regardless. And this is presented by BuffaloSauceGod.com as well. So let's get a little round of applause from the audience here.
Thank you guys for tuning in tonight. It means a lot.
It's gonna be a great show here, guys. I mean, obviously, let me just start it off with it. it's sometimes it can be boring when you're watching round one of the NFL draft, but this is the most exciting part of the draft, obviously. You know, you got sometimes 10 minutes between picks. It can go on for a while. Obviously, I think we're all aware of who's going to go number one. We're not sure exactly who's going to go number two. We don't know who's going to go number three, but we're expecting possible 3 quarterbacks taken off the board. Now, there's rumors that Arizona is going to move out of the 4 spot. Would it be possible the Bills would trade up into that spot? I mean, what it would sacrifice, what it would take to get there, that's a lot, right? So we're going to talk about that as well, ladies and gentlemen. And I want to know who you guys out there think the Buffalo Bills are going to end up selecting tonight, if they'll trade up or trade down, and all that mumbo jumbo. So let me see. I'm going to check out some of these new sound effects that we got in here. Little quick shout out from one of the Bills' best receivers, Stevie Johnson, real fast. A long-time friend and fan of the sit down. So what's he got to say?
What's good, Bills Mafia? It's Stevie Johnson, and you're in the sit down with my man Sauce God. Go Bills.
Amen to that. That's 13s right there, baby. Stevie Johnson, who's always doing nonstop work for the community of Western New York as well as the youth, and you got to respect it. A guy that's done a lot of great things in his time. So Tyler's a big-time fan, obviously, of the Saints. And, hey, you know, I asked Timmy the same question. You're obviously a Bills supporter, too. Are the Bills going to trade up or trade down?
It's tough, you know. I mean, honestly, I think the Bills, like everybody's saying, they need a wide receiver, this and that. I think they definitely do. But it's just a matter of fact how bad, right? Because that's what's going to, you know, be the trade up and down point. I think a team at 17 like Jacksonville could definitely be a suitor. I think a team like 20 like Pittsburgh could be a suitor. I think somewhere around there, you know, they trade up for somebody, you know, get Josh Allen that weapon back. I mean, Curtis Samuel's definitely a good receiver in my opinion. Khalil Shakir will definitely be good in the slot. But I think they need that big-time receiver, man. Maybe a big body, you know, some guy that's going to come in, block a little bit, be the player of the game. You know what I mean? That's what Buffalo, New York needs as a city, and that's what they need as a franchise.
I think that's a great thing. A little quick message for all you guys out there as well. Quick commercial.
The Sit Down is presented by Duff's Famous Wings, live on Facebook, YouTube, and X.
I got some new sound effects. Of course, I got to try them out. I got my best friends over here in the show. I mean, that's the best part about this show is that it's entertaining. But if I could tell you one thing is that these two guys both know sports. Timmy knows betting, and that's a guy that has known betting because, you know, hey, I'm not trying to take credit, but, you know, the master and the apprentice, but the apprentice has become the master himself. So I'm very proud to say that. Timmy, what do you got in for action tonight as we are now underway here in just a few moments of round one of the NFL draft?
I'm letting the Cavs ride because we all know they like to play slow starting off. Tony, thank you for that, but I don't know shit about betting. But if I know anything, it's some shit that you taught me. But exactly. I appreciate it.
One thing that we like to do is we like to hear this sound. Cha-ching, baby. You know what I'm saying? So we're trying to make some money up in here. We'll have some parlays in. The Yankees are currently playing right now. I'll get you guys a quick update on that in just a few moments here too. But
yeah,
we're going to talk about some cool topics and everything like that. As far as trivia questions, we're going to talk about what each team's biggest need is and all that mumbo jumbo. So first and foremost, I want to ask you both here, you know, and I'm going to start with you, Ramp. Caleb Williams, he's going to go number 1 overall. Unless for some reason the Bears do some Bears kind of bullshit and, you know, boom, whatever, mumbo jumbo. So what do you think? Is this kid going to be any good or not?
So I actually seen that they were going to have a new stadium here, a lakefront stadium in Chicago. That definitely changes the whole platform of the whole city, right? Because now you're going from a windy city of Chicago to a place indoors like Minnesota. I mean, that's a completely different ball game at the end of that day. So I was not a supporter of the Justin Fields trade. I thought that was absolutely terrible as a franchise and as a unit. I don't see how you let a guy go out like that. Like Caleb Williams, I just don't see it, man. I don't see it with the guy. I don't know what everybody thinks. I get he had a good season in Oklahoma. I get that.
But dude, Utah. If you can't beat Utah in the Pac-10, like you're not doing nothing in the NFL.
Yeah,
you're painting your fucking fingernails. Sorry for that, you know.
And obviously, you know, we're not knocking anybody that does anything like that. But no, Timmy's got a point. This guy it doesn't seem like his focus is on football for me personally. You know, obviously he wins the Heisman.
Yeah, mark my words though. I think.
What'd you say?
I think McCarthy and definitely Penix. I think those two have a more sustainable, longer career than Caleb Williams. Just because of Caleb's attitude. His attitude stinks. He has games where he'll throw for 4 touchdowns, but he got 4 picks too. Games where I saw, he loses 20-point, the rivalry games, but you can't do that. Losing to Utah in the conference championship, bro, that was disgusting.
Tim Bone, Washington. Let me ask you this right here, buddy. Do you think Miami Dolphins are in a position to pick a quarterback?
Tyler, that's a good question. That's a good question. Timmy, you can take that one first if you want.
I don't see the need right now. I think Tua, he showed that he could be healthy throughout an entire season. I don't see the need to go stretch for a.
Exactly. No, here's my thing though.
I know you guys hate Tua. I know you guys don't like Tua.
No. Here's the thing.
It's not that.
It's not even that. It's that I don't hate Tua. I hate the way that Miami has treated him, but I hate the way that everybody in their fan base has acted like he's been the guy when they haven't acted like they weren't trying to trade the fucking franchise for Deshaun Watson or trying to get Tom Brady as a fucking potential owner and player. All this stuff. And like it started with his rookie year when Fitzpatrick was coming in to basically Mariano Rivera and close games while he was a rookie. Then the injury stuff. Okay. And I'm not saying Tua's not good. He's got great talent around him. But at the same time, if he was that great in this fucking MVP type level, why hasn't he been paid yet? And Miami said that, it's not a matter of, it's just a matter of when we get it done. We're going to get it done. Nah, man, they're obviously not confident. I don't think Miami's going to go ahead and trade. I don't think that they have the assets or the capital to necessarily do so. I think Miami kind of fucked themselves because, they kind of went all in and people don't realize that. Timmy, what do you got there?
I think this is a stretch, but I think if a scenario went down where Daniel Jones leaves the Giants, I could see him being a backup to Tua.
Now that's something. That's something to bring up.
Just ring in my head, but
because here's the thing, Brian Dable is obviously going to, be drafting 6th overall, and who knows? Maybe the Patriots are not going to fucking draft at 3. There's a lot of skepticism about the Patriots drafting a quarterback at 3 right now. It doesn't seem like they're a lock on somebody or this and that. There's a lot of people that think that they might trade out. So maybe with the Giants per se, because I could see Gerard Mayo trying to stack up capital the same way that Bill Belichick would and trying to get something to kind of reload because the Patriots need to do that, right? I'll say this though too. I think overall, when it comes down to it, I think the best quarterback in this draft is going to either be Drake May or Jaden Daniels. That's my guess. Maybe it'll be fucking JJ McCarthy, but I don't know if I see it. I don't know if I see it necessarily to the level of elite athleticism that I want to see. What I see out of Drake May is a very good comparison to Josh Allen. You know what I mean? Very, very similar skill set.
You know who McCarthy's going to play like? Sorry to interrupt, Tony. McCarthy's going to be, and this is no disrespect because he was good for many years, but he's going to be Carson Palmer. That's what McCarthy is.
And I love this too,
honestly,
right? To hear that come out of.
I love Michigan. I watched Michigan. I watched this kid from when he was a freshman. I think he's going to be like a Carson Palmer type of guy. And that's okay. That's okay.
That's a good point, Timmy, because Carson Palmer had a solid career, obviously. But in a way, let's talk about a guy like Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan obviously just retired as an Atlanta Falcon. And, hey, whether or not you want to say that the guy was great or not, he has an MVP. He did appear in the Super Bowl and obviously let us all down by letting Tom Brady achieve that comeback. It fucking pissed me off.
Matt Ryan is Kirk Cousins. Matt Ryan is Kirk Cousins. What's the difference?
Exactly.
Man.
There's nothing that special there that just stands out to you. Now, there's few in this day and age. There's few pocket passers that are actually going to really be, I think, that we're like very elite. Because nowadays you've got to be somewhat mobile. You've got to be able to be athletic because it's the game that we see today. That's how teams are.
The linebackers are quicker. Everyone's quicker. The D linemen get off the ball quicker. Everyone's just.
I wanted to say this about Caleb Williams real fast too, guys, because I wanted to, back up your guys' point. First off, my whole thing is, if you truly love football and you were all about this, and you were as great as you really are, you think you are, you wouldn't fucking be focused on getting a part ownership of the team, okay? You'd be focused in coming in and earning the respect of your teammates, earning the respect of your fan base, and earning the respect of the league before you get a fucking part ownership. Tom Brady's still in shambles over here trying to get his part ownership with the Raiders, and he's retired. And he's obviously got a little bit of right to some shit, I'm saying. But Caleb Williams, what has he got? National championship? No. Does he have college football playoff experience? No. That's the thing.
Yeah, Jeter didn't do that till after his career. Like this guy hasn't even fucking he's not even in the league yet. He's trying to fucking
Jeter,
get part
obviously,
ownership.
that's what I'm saying, and that's what the greats here's great. The ones that are the greatest of all time never set out to be the greatest individual. They set out to be the greatest. They wanted to be the greatest winner. You know what I'm saying? Which comes as a team. Michael Jordan, Derek Jeter. Why did A-Rod fucking not ever win a championship until he was with Derek Jeter? Because he was focused on being the superstar that Derek Jeter was, because Derek Jeter only cared about winning. So, he hit 30 home runs. I don't care. I won a World Series. That's the only thing that matters. Caleb Williams doesn't say that to me. What it reminds me a lot of, Josh Rosen. Tyler, you can probably remember this. Remember Josh Rosen? He said, basically, my parents are, doctors, so if football doesn't work out, it's all good. What? Like, dog, you ain't about this?
And he got replaced by a guy like Kyler Murray. So I want to back this up to what you guys were talking about with Caleb Williams here, because I got a lot to say about this one. I love the fact that Sauce, you brought up that point that he wants to be part ownership in a team. Dude, these guys make so much money nowadays that, like, if you just play out your career, you will be an owner someday, because guess what? These owners are going to sell, and you're going to have your chance. So if that's really what you want to do and that's your end goal, fine. But keep the main thing the main thing. That's the end goal, okay? And hang on, one more point here. J.J. McCartney coming out of your mouth was awesome. Because I know you as an Ohio State Buckeye. And, hey, if the Patriots take J.J. McCartney, like, I get it, right? I get it. He's a winner. That's what Mr. Kraft wants. I mean, I get it, okay?
That's what he wants.
I don't care. That's the guy that owns the team. So if that's what he wants, he's going to take that. He's going to take that. Marvin, in my opinion, I think if a team wants a good star power, I mean, it depends on what you want as a franchise, right? Because if a team wants really good star power, I think you take a guy like Marvin Harrison Jr., and I think you just see what happens with the quarterback position, because you got a guy backing up Russell Wilson right now that should be a starting quarterback in this league.
Exactly. Now, here's another fun thing, guys, is I think, obviously, Timmy, you're obviously a Ravens fan here, but I think the Steelers are priming themselves up to get back into the mix here because, obviously they realized Kenny Pickett wasn't the answer. They moved on from him, and I kind of feel like they did him dirty in a sense, and hey, I thought Kenny Two Gloves had a shot when he fucking played against the Bills his rookie season. He looked all right. It was especially
but Tony, that guy cannot move the fucking football.
No, and he doesn't have the arm. He doesn't have the fucking. He just doesn't have it. But Pittsburgh didn't fucking try this experiment for years. They learned, boom, move on. So they went and get Russell Wilson. Basically, obviously, we know for the veteran. Justin Fields, which they're not going to be.
To add on the Tyler, right? To add on the Tyler real quick, Tony. Do you play the Bailey Zappi experiment? Not that he's not even there anymore, but do you play that experiment at quarterback or?
That's what I'm starting to wonder now. Does New England maybe have because if you ask a fucking Patriots fan, Bailey's if he plays, he's gonna be all right. Yeah, he's playing for the Boston. Yeah, okay. It's like, no, dude. If Mac Jones got traded back, you guys, Mac's gonna be fucking coming back. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, at the end of the day, the Patriots were as good as they were because
like Michael will sell tickets in New England. A black quarterback. When's there been a black quarterback in New England in Boston? That would be fucking electric, dude. And he can make. He's one of the guys who can make anyone play good. Anyone be good.
What if Boston, because I can't call him New England, they draft J.J. McCarthy because, he's got the Irish last name, and he just turns out to be a drunken Irish prick living in South Boston, but he plays football. Like, all right.
Or like Mac Jones. Or you take a risk, and he's like Mac Jones. I don't know.
Fuck Mac. Mac can fuck himself. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are currently ready with Roger Goodell coming to the stage, being booed, and Eminem is on stage right now, preparing his next diss song. We lost Timmy there for a brief moment. I'm sure he'll be back in here in just a few moments. But ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already done so, please hit us with a like and a share. You're live here in the Sit Down, a sports and entertainment show on Facebook, YouTube, and X, formerly known as Twitter. And make sure you follow and subscribe at Buffalo Sauce God. And make sure your notifications are turned on so you don't miss the live shows. But if you do miss the live show, as my guy Rampart knows over here, we have the audio podcast available via audio Apple Podcasts and Spotify Podcasts the following day. So make sure you go and check that out too and follow. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, the Chicago Bears are officially on the clock. And I'm pretty sure it's clear as day, obviously, that they are going to be selecting Caleb Williams. Tyler, we had this discussion. The Bears obviously traded Justin Fields. We thought that they could use that number 1 pick to either trade it for assets, more picks, whatever, or they could go and get a receiver to go or get, better offensive linemen. Instead, they take the route of going with the guy that has, a somewhat proven track record with a subpar team and definitely showed some elite playmaking ability to a guy that, has a fucking double-breasted, whatever the fuck, toga on with his Japanese toenails. Tyler, is this the wrong move? What's going to happen for the Bears?
Oh man, he's not Caitlin Clark. I'm sorry to tell you. You let me know when the pick's in, all right? Because you're a little bit ahead of me. So I'm just getting Roger Goodell walking up now here, and man, the Chicago Bears have been ever since Peanut Tillman. I would say they never really had anything to look forward to. You got a guy like Matt Forte that tried to carry it for years, man. I remember Matt Forte for that guy was running the football. And, maybe when I think about Bears football, and this is what I want to do tonight, I want to analyze all these teams, and I want to give my absolute truest opinion. The Chicago Bears football plays the best football when they have a guy in the middle of the defense. Like, if you don't have that and an edge rusher, where are you actually going? Because these teams that take this quarterback, and I really want them to think about this. You don't have a team around you. Why would you take a quarterback? You're just setting them up for failure. I don't want to see that anymore. I don't want to see a guy running around for his life because he can't even think right because, Von Miller's in the backfield. I just want these GMs to get a little bit smarter in the way they handle these off-season, promotions and demotions. And I hope it gets better for the sport.
Yeah, Tyler, overall, dude, I think the thing that I want to see start to happen, because, listen, I'm not wishing bad upon Caleb Williams at all. Like, I'm not saying I want this kid to fail or anything like that. I'm just saying what I see in his attitude and his entire approach, it makes me really think that he's not set up himself for success here, right? But that doesn't mean, like I said, I wish bad upon him. With that being said, should he not succeed, I hope that it starts to make people realize that, maybe I should come into the league with less entitlement and maybe more of a desire to earn this. I really just don't understand how a guy like that could really kind of try to command so much. Like, we even talk about, he would stay in school if he didn't like the team that was going to be drafted number 1 overall. So we've got Mel Kiper on stage up there with Booger McFarland. Yeah, I miss watching John Gruden up there. So we're going to have a little bit of entertainment, obviously, paired up with these picks. Tyro asked some of the input. I think Timmy either lost service or his phone died, but I'm sure that he will be back in just a brief few minutes. Bills Mafia, if you're out there watching, if you're anybody out there watching, guys, hit us with a like and a share. Join us here in the comments. Tyler, do you think Jaden Daniels goes 2, or is it going to be Drake May?
It's weird that they had a quarterback meeting with all of them, right? I think that kind of, I think Jaden Daniels kind of fits the mold a little bit better. But it's just tough to say, right? Because Washington's under new ownership. I mean, great owners at that. Like, I'm pretty sure the guy built the Warriors. They got Magic Johnson over there. So, I mean, I'm sure they know how to pick basketball players. But let's see how they pick football players, okay?
Yeah, I think overall, it's just crazy to me how this draft is stacked as far as talent goes, right? I just saw a graphic today, Tyler, showing us the 2013 round 1 picks. And, dude, E.J. Manuel, I think, was the first quarterback taken in that draft, obviously, by the Buffalo Bills. And how's the audio, by the way? Crystal clear?
Yeah, pal. Sounds good. How do I sound on your end?
Excellent. They're obviously fucking nice with the sound effects and everything like that. You guys are live here in the Sit Down Sports and Entertainment Show, covering the Buffalo sports of the Bills Mafia and the Buffalo Sabres and all of that mumbo jumbo. We've got some sports betting and all that and everything you need right here to keep you entertained. Round 1 of the NFL draft is the Bears are still on the clock with about 4 minutes and 40 seconds until the pick is going to be in. Now, I remember there was, and Tyler, I wonder if you can remember this. I think it was maybe 2007. The Miami Dolphins had the number 1 overall pick, and they announced who their pick was before the draft. So,
Huh.
like, it just, like, jumped from pick one into, like, the next one. Like, what the fuck? Do you remember something like that?
I mean, when you have the number one pick, you're the head of the train, right?
But
You're the commander.
They drafted a lineman, or it was either, like, Chris Long or Kyle Long or somebody like that.
They have long careers each way, no pun intended. I think.
Yeah, I like it. So, here we go. The pick is officially in, ladies and gentlemen. With the first pick of the 2024 NFL Draft, we're going to have that in just a few moments here, which I'm pretty sure we all know who it's going to be. I honestly, Tyler, would love to find out that, fucking come to find out the Bears don't select him. And somebody put a bet in, for them to select somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Like, try to fucking fix the draft. What do you think here, Tyler? Caleb Williams doesn't really look like he's exactly excited. It doesn't seem like he's on the phone with anybody at the moment, but we do know the pick is in.
Let's just wait and see what it says.
I mean, dude, I think obviously it's going to be Caleb Williams. I don't think there's much question to that, but it is. Oh, there's the phone.
Yep. And they got
a pretty good. He's texting. He was texting.
On the BlackBerry,
They're all high-fiving.
Yeah.
They haven't done nothing yet. It's like they just won the fucking Stanley Cup of the World Series. This is football, pal, not La Liga. And by the way, a little quick shout out to Western New York's own Ryan Poles, the general manager of the Chicago Bears. Man, Detroit is popping, Tyler. 150,000 people there supporting their teams.
I just want to say shout out to the Goodyear blimp for giving us this aerial coverage this evening. I think honestly this NFL next season, I mean, you saw a lot of moves in this offseason, right? I think there's guys that's on new teams. A guy like Stefon Diggs, he goes off to a team called the Houston Texans. They had some firepower. They got Daniel Hunter on the other side. I think, with DeMeco Ryans at the helm, I think the Houston Texans are just, they're set to go. But it makes me think about what's the other team's going to do. Jacksonville, they haven't really been able to replace that cornerback in Jalen Ramsey in many years. And I think that, maybe that they just need to slow down and build their team. I think every team needs to do that and understand that the New England Colts drafted Anthony Richardson last year. So I think
pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Chicago Bears officially select Caleb Williams, quarterback from USC. The 2022 Heisman winner who did have, he had some good statistics. Let's not take away from that. He obviously had a crazy 2022 with 52 total touchdowns. I think, though, when you look at it, where's the kid's focus? And that's something that nobody seems to talk about enough. And I don't understand how, because Johnny Manziel, practically same type of talent. Maybe obviously is a lot more reckless and a lot more, crazy out there, but same attitude in a sense. We all knew that Johnny Football wanted to play football, though. You know what I'm saying? Does this guy really want to play football? Is he interested in the money, the fame? And those are all things that I would evaluate here, Tyler. So what the upside is here for the Bears, though, Caleb Williams, obviously, with the way that they have picked up some assets in trading in draft capital. They signed, they traded for Montez Sweat, signed him to an extension. They've got DJ Moore there. Tyler, I still think the Chicago Bears just are setting themselves up now almost like to rebuild again. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's go into the first year of, or is this them saying that they think that they can win now with this kid?
I think ultimately with the NIL deal with the college football, I think it hopefully will make these kids, want to actually become professionals, because now you're not being a professional at, 21, 20 years old. Now you're getting taught when you're 17, 18 years old. I mean, when you get the training and the sleep and all that stuff that you need to be a NFL football player, I mean, the league should just jump in wonders for that, because I think it's a very good move. I think that Caleb Williams will definitely be the guy there. They got a guy like Keenan Allen, Cole Kmet. They got DeAndre Swift in the backfield.
Forget about that. Yeah.
So
I mean, the talent is there. I just again think that you could have really done fucking some big time things. Per se, trading that first, because think about this: what would a team that needs a franchise quarterback that's going to be as great as Caleb Williams, what would they give to get that? Because at the end of the day, I think a lot of franchises, if you have a guaranteed franchise quarterback, would trade fucking half the franchise. They trade fucking most of the future, because that's what you're getting. You need. But they could have traded backwards. They could have gotten, hey, I'm obviously traded down a little bit and got Marvin Harrison Jr. and boom, still picked up some fucking assets.
Now let's go here, right? Like, we all know when you draft a quarterback #1 overall in the offense, you're going to have a window to where you can load that team up as very big as possible because you got 5 years to do it. Because if that player picks up that 5th option, guess what? Your salary cap's going to dump, right? So I think ultimately that's why the Bears, might have traded Justin Fields. I think, maybe, let
they
him
wanted
get
to get
a
that
little
extra 4 or 5 years per se, but still.
Exactly. And because they just kind of started making their moves, right? Like they're just a team that just kind of got Keenan Allen. They got DeAndre Swift now, as I said. I think this is a team that think, maybe if you give us a couple years, I think we can be something special.
And as my guy Rampart just said, he's talking about Caleb Williams with the first pick in the NFL draft for 2024, which is live in Detroit right now. And you're live here in the sit down. And this is presented by Duff from BuffaloSauceGod.com. And I am the Sauce God. You can follow me at Buffalo Sauce God and on Facebook at Anthony Bomasudo. Make sure you're following, and subscribe. We are over 500 subscribers on YouTube. And all y'all make sure you have those notifications turned on so you can miss the live shows or any of the content coming from us over here at the GameBook. And if you miss the live shows or you just like podcasts, this is available via audio podcasts on Apple and Spotify the following day, maybe even the following, I don't know. Doesn't matter. But we're here, and the Washington Redskins, let's call them, because obviously they should just never fucking change away from that, are now on the clock. Tyler, I thought that Sam Howell wasn't a bad quarterback. I thought that Washington was just kind of a franchise that wasn't – Ron Rivera wasn't the guy for them to be the head coach. He was already past his time when he came out of, Carolina, and that's what happens. You try to recycle a head coach. It doesn't happen very often that they're going to be good somewhere else. Like Andy Reid is probably the only example. But now you obviously have a different regime come in. You've got new ownership, this and that. Now they're going to obviously draft a quarterback. What do you got?
I don't think, the Washington Commanders football team, whatever it is, I don't think they've ever really recovered ever since Trent Williams' departure. I think, after he kind of left, you saw a running back like Alfred Morris, he started slowing down a little bit. All of a sudden, your offense wasn't clicking anymore.
You think about this, too. You bring up a good point, dude, that they at one point had guys that were going to be eventually 2 franchise quarterbacks, Robert Griffin III and Kirk Cousins, who was drafted
injuries
here. Obviously, RG3 has the injury, and that happens. But here Washington is again. They tried with Carson Wentz. That didn't work. The pick is in. We'll be announcing that in just a few moments, ladies and gentlemen. My guess is that it's going to be Jaden Daniels.
Mine's Drake May.
You think it's Drake May?
I think so.
And I mean, here's the thing. You've got new ownership that just came in. You got the guy from Canada and obviously cleaning up a dysfunctional franchise under Dan Snyder and all the things that existed with that, the name change. Washington, man, has just struggled. They've had some great fucking players over the years. And, it's sad because I said again, I saw Sam Howell play last year, and I thought that the kid was pretty fucking good. I thought that he showed pretty good promise, but was under pressure all the fucking time. And we would expect, what is the guy supposed to do? Mel Kiper looks like his hair has been the same for the last 30,000 years of doing the NFL draft. Booger still looks like he's pissed because obviously they don't want him on very much coverage, but they probably signed a contract, so he's got no choice. At the moment, too, ladies and gentlemen, the Bills are still sitting at 28, and I do know this, Tyler, is that they have been said to be very aggressive. There were rumors that they really like Romeo Dunce. There are rumors that they really like Brian Thomas Jr. At the end of the day, am just like so conflicted about this, right? Because I mean, Brian Thomas Jr. he's got the ability, but some people think that he's wide receiver 2 ability. We need wide receiver 1. Now, I'm not saying that the guy can't come in and exceed expectations, whatever. But the Buffalo Bills, man, they are going to have to make themselves a move today, and I think that's going to be essential for them going forward. But guys, with that being said, we are now here in the sit down with the NFL draft coverage live here on Facebook, YouTube, and X, formerly known as Twitter. Make sure you join us here in the comments. We have the next pick, and ladies and gentlemen, with the second pick in the 2024 NFL draft, the Washington Commanders select quarterback Jaden Daniels from LSU. And from the Bayou, Tyler, what do you think of him?
I knew you were going to come to me with that one. Jaden Daniels is, I think the most ready to play now quarterback other than Caleb Williams. I think, you get a guy like Caleb Williams, like I said, he's going to start right away, right? That's why you move Justin Fields. You give him the job and let him see what he can do. I think, Jaden Daniels, personally, he got the Heisman Award, but to me, man, I mean, I know he's older and they're saying he might go in the second, third round. Bo Nix was a hell of a player. And
Bo Nix has damn experience too.
yeah.
And when you bring up Bo Nix, it reminds me of a guy named Justin Herbert, who would have probably been the number 1 overall draft pick
Same
in
school.
the previous season if he didn't play his other year of college. But I'm just saying, I'll say this: Jaden Daniels' production went up massively from his previous season to this year when he won the Heisman. The only FBS quarterback with 12,000 pass yards and 3,000 rush yards. I mean, the guy played in the SEC. What more could you ask for? Granted, he played with some really good talent at receiver, but hey, LSU, man, they put out some good talent. The Bayou, man, Jaden Daniels, does this guy really have what it takes to step in and make the Washington Commanders competitive?
Not right away, I would say. I would say, it's on the coaching staff. He's got a guy like Cliff Kingsbury calling the plays, which maybe he's trying to get for Patrick Mahomes type player from Texas Tech, some guy that's just going to, be able to scramble around a little bit, make plays unorthodox. I think that's what he's kind of looking for here. Head coach, you're going to have to hold the ball defensively because you pretty much let go of all your young defensive players go. We'll see what the Washington football team do here, but I think it's going to be a rodeo for them, and I'm here to watch it.
The Washington football team. I'll never call them the Washington football team. Oh, I'm trying to get Timmy back on the fucking horn here. I don't know. Maybe his phone died or something. But, all right, here's where the draft is actually going to start getting much more interesting, Tyler. So let's get some background music here again. And, of course, these are some great background tunes. I hope you like them so far. Let's go to this one right here. And Tyler, feel free, bro. Go into the brand section and you'll see under the sounds, you can see like sound effects and shit like that. You can play around with them a little bit.
Yeah, I got one for this next pick.
Okay, so you want a little. Okay, you want a buzzer. And with the third pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the New England Patriots select. Exactly, because it doesn't matter. And then we appreciate the crowd sitting there. And
so hey, let me ask you a question like this, because they got a guy like Kyle Duggar on that defense, right? On that safety position. Personally, to me, I think he's the best player. They say Judon is, but personally to me, I think Duggar is because he kind of has that McCourty effect, keep everybody on the fly, but you can beat them deep. So let's go here, baby.
Oh, and here we go. The New England Patriots said Gerard Mayo is not messing around. The pick is in. As at the moment, it doesn't appear that the Patriots did trade that pick away, so it looks like the pick is coming in. My guess is it's going to be Drake May. Maybe they shake things up and it goes J.J. McCarthy. But once we get out of the third pick, it's going to start getting more interesting because then we're at 4, and the Cardinals are not more than likely they're not taking quarterback, even though I don't think that they have their answer.
I'm taking Marvin Harrison Jr. to be the next Larry
exactly,
Fitz.
Or I'm trading out. If I'm not going Marvin Harrison, I'm trading out. But we will have some commercial breaks, ladies and gentlemen, throughout the show too, so we can, obviously we got ourselves a long show, and that way we can get a little snack. Tyra and I have been, obviously working today. We're gonna get our teammate back here in just a bit, hopefully as well. And hey,
I just want to say about the New England Patriots, they had the last offense last year, so I mean,
here's the thing, buddy. New England fucking just. You got Matt Patricia. He's got 2 first names. One's a man's name and the last is a woman's name. But he coaches defense 1 year, back to offense another, and then he's back with another fucking head coach, and then boom. It just, come on, man. Then you got Mac fucking Poopy Jones, and Bailey got zapped. You know what I'm saying? Well, while you got fucking no receivers, you got defense, sure, but like at the end of the day, you got Red Sleeve fucking Judon, and you got every fucking Boston fan in the crowd right now thinking that when they make this pick, that they just automatically won the Super Bowl. So
New England signed Jacoby Brissett this year.
Yeah, exactly. I saw somebody say, "Oh, New England's going to get Marvin Harrison, and they already got Jacoby Brissett, so he's going to win MVP, and they're going to win the Super Bowl this year." Like, oh, yeah,
golf.
So yeah, bring Jacoby Brissett back and fucking, while you're at it, go get Jimmy Garoppolo, see if that one works. I mean, like, fuck it, you guys straight. Let's see if we can get that one to rework. Hell, go get Matt Castle back too. All the guys that played after Brady is what I'm saying over here. So the pick is coming in here, ladies and gentlemen, of the 2024 NFL Draft. This show is presented by Duff's Miss Wings and BuffaloSauceGod.com, live on Facebook, YouTube, and X, formerly known as Twitter, and also available via audio podcast. Quick message from our guy, Stevie Johnson, former Buffalo Bills receiver.
Yo, what's good, Bills Mafia? It's Stevie Johnson, and you're in the sit down with my man Sauce God. Go Bills.
Go Bills always. And that is the NFL. Here we go. The third pick in the 2024 NFL Draft. The New England Patriots select Drake May, quarterback from North Carolina.
See, I love that pick. I love it, and but man, who's to say he's not Daniel Jones though? A guy Tim Bone Washington brought up in the last segment there. Oh man, it's just so tough when you take a guy then you don't have a team around him. Like who's going to block?
Quarterback from New England, from North Carolina. Just name me one.
Mitchell Trubisky.
Exactly. T.J. Yates.
T.J. Yates.
Yeah, fucking dude. You'd be better off with fucking Tony Muskett from like Utah State or whatever the fuck.
You need Christian Laettner to come out of retirement and slang the old pigskin.
Here's the thing. Drake May obviously has a little bit of that Josh Allen gamer attitude, and I'll give it to him. But at the same time, I don't know what it is. But unless you play in the ACC conference and you win a national title like Trevor Lawrence with the Clemson Tigers, I just don't see it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the end of the day. I hate to say it, but it does matter what conference you play in. You can see it clear as day. And look at. I see him fucking with a nice run here, but I saw his offensive line with 4 holding plays on there. So, New England, you guys think you found your guy for the future. New England's had to use 2 first-round picks on quarterbacks in the last 3 or 4 years now. Continuing to find their quarterback after Tom Brady, and that continuing search is going to bode well for them or not well for them. I don't think so.
Now, Sauce, coming up here in the 4th pick of the draft, who do you think's going?
Honestly, it's got to be Marvin Harrison Jr. I don't think that they're going to trade down. I think Arizona obviously knows that Marvin Harrison Jr. is, if he's not the best player in the draft, he's the second best player in the draft.
They got their guy.
The guys win is because of the needs.
Yeah.
But, Tyler, my thing is here is which receiver goes after Marvin Harrison Jr.?
Man, dude, the guy that comes after, I think it's Neighbors. I think, maybe Neighbors is going, 6th overall to the Giants. Or he could go, we could be back-to-back receivers here. You got Los Angeles Chargers here.
That these teams, as much as they could use a great receiver, they need offensive line. The Chargers need an offensive lineman. The Giants.
That's what I've been trying to hammer home.
But what I'm wondering is it possible the Giants maybe trade out of 6 and fucking maybe, draft a guy like J.J. McCarthy instead? Who knows? I don't know what the Giants are going to do because obviously the Danny Jones experiment, in my opinion, it ain't working. And yeah, you fucked yourselves with 4 years, $160 million to Danny fucking Nichols, because he ain't giving you half of what fucking his nickname says. The other one that I'm interested too is what are the Jets going to do at 10? Here we go. So here's your fucking first round quarterbacks for the Patriots. You got Jim Plunkett, Tony Eason, Drew Bledsoe, Mac Jones, and Drake May. Crazy to think that the best quarterback in their franchise is the guy that was drafted in the 6th round versus all these other guys. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. Tyler, man, the Saints are going to be picking at 14. What do you think the New Orleans Saints need?
I think the Saints need offensive line help. I think they need that left tackle ever since Teron Armstead kind of walked away from the game. I don't think we've ever had that stability. We still got a guy like Kamara. We still got a guy like Olave, and maybe a tight end could be helpful there. I'm very interested to see if we stick that pick or we trade it or stay with the Bills. I think that could be another Bills trade spot that can kind of get their spot in the draft.
Well, now looking at the live draft room for the Arizona Cardinals, the pick is officially in, Tyler. So, by the way, after we announce this next pick, which I'm assuming is going to be Marvin Harrison Jr., we're going to take a brief commercial break as we get ready for the 5th overall pick. Bills Mafia, we are still sitting at 28 right now, but we have got plenty more ahead in the show right here in the sit-down, your sports and entertainment, and also your Bills Mafia, Buffalo Sabres coverage, and all Buffalo sports. Tyler, man, we are moments away from finding out who was the next pick here. And if it's obviously in the Cardinals' hands, they'd be stupid to not pick Marvin Harrison Jr. I think it's crazy that, this kid is going to possibly play. If he picked 4th overall and play for a team like the Cardinals, who I think it's crazy. They just had DeAndre Hopkins paired up with Kyler Murray. And I just don't
but
think
now
Kyler
you're
Murray
adding
has
a
it.
guy
I
that,
don't think he's got it. He's chicken little. You know what I'm saying? So the next pick will be in here in just a few moments. And like I said, after that, we're going to take a brief commercial break. But this is the Sit Down Sports and Entertainment Show presented by Duff Wings. So let's play a little commercial. Let's see. Where is it? Make sure you guys are following and liked and subscribed as we are waiting Roger Goodell to come onto the stage. We're expecting to see the first receiver taken off the board here in this absolutely studded draft. Stack draft for receivers, quarterbacks, and all the above. We'll have T-Bone in back in here and with us in just a few moments as well, hopefully, ladies and gentlemen. But here we go with the 4th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft. The Arizona Cardinals select receiver Marvin Harrison Jr., Ohio State. So, hey, real fast, Tyler, go ahead and ask me, what do you think of the guy? Tyler.
What do you think of the guy?
Well, let me tell you something here. And this is the guy that Marvin Harrison Jr., he's out there working with his teammates. He said, hey, I'm going where my quarterback goes. I like the guy. I'm playing hard. He's a Buck guy. He said, Buck up. This is my nation. We're ready to get after it. Ohio State, big-time school, big-time playmaking ability. This guy out here has just done it season in and season out. Let's talk about why is he Marvin Harrison Jr., because if you don't already know who Marvin Harrison Sr. is, let's go ahead and educate you. Number 88 for the Indianapolis Colts, who played alongside Peyton Manning, Dallas Clark, and Reggie Wayne, was one of the most insane receivers, putting up 140-something catches, which was a record until it was broken by none other than the Bayou's 13, Michael Thomas, when he was out there catching blessings. You know what I'm saying? So Marvin Harrison Jr. coming from the lineage of his father, it says a lot. And of course, if you don't know, Marvin Harrison Sr. also played at Syracuse University. Go Orange. So Marvin Harrison Jr. is the first receiver taken in the draft. That is going to put the LA Chargers on the clock at 5 with 6 minutes and 50 seconds to go, guys. We'll be back in here in just a few moments. But if you haven't already done so, hit that like and share. Join us in the comment section. You're live here in the sit down, presented by Duff Wings and BuffaloSauceGuy.com. We appreciate everybody so far. Stay tuned as we have a full jam-packed show with all of your coverage for round 1 of the 2024 NFL Draft.
This is the sit down here with Sauce Guy and Ramparts Hockey. If you already done so, make sure to hit the like, share it with your friends, and tune in to the sit down.
Yes. Okay, here we are. We're back. And I believe my guy Tyler is back here with me as well. Get this overlay off of us. All right, so we are back here in Sit Down, presented by Duff Wings and BuffaloSauceGuy.com. This is live on Facebook, X, and YouTube. The fifth pick in the 2024 NFL Draft is officially in for the Los Angeles Chargers. So let's go ahead. Let's play that official tone. Oh, with the fifth pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Los Angeles Chargers select Joe Alt, offensive lineman.
I love that pick of them. Joe Alt's a guy from Notre Dame University, buddy.
Well, Notre Dame fighting Irish. The guy said, I might be fighting people, but I'm not playing in New England. So he heads down to San Diego, a.k.a. the Los Angeles area, to play for the bolt-up fucking Chargers. Finally, the Chargers get themselves a guy who is set to block for Justin Herbert, who is a fucking machine. And people say is my fucking twin. And I have seen a side-by-side when I had long hair, and he, it's pretty fucking identical. I'll give it to him. But this is an offensive lineman from the Fighting Irish, which is why I wish Gage was here, because Gage obviously knows a thing about this guy. He's a Fighting Irish fan. Hoping that we get fucking Timmy back here at some point. And hoping that we get some other folks here. But Tyler, overall, are you surprised to see the Chargers? Obviously they let go of Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. What's their plan for receiver going forward? Well, no, they go and get an offensive line.
I think they're kind of taking, the out of the page of the New England Patriots book. I think, you're building your team strong. I think you get a good left tackle, because that's what he's going to need. Slater's going to move over to the right side, I would believe. And I think they're going to have a two-headed monster on the fucking end of the line there.
So we haven't seen anybody trade out of the top 10 yet. Obviously, we're only at pick 6 now, coming up for the New Jersey Giants, because they play in East Rutherford. Joe Alt was a unanimous All-American in 2023, offensive tackle here for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Is going to be playing for Jim Harbaugh. Obviously, he has some success at the college level. He's had some success at the NFL level. This will be coming in for his first season with the LA Chargers. It's a franchise, Tower, that I think has a lot of holes, though. You know what I'm saying? I know Joey Bosa restructured his contract, this and that, but they had a fucking solid built team, and they failed to do it. Brandon Staley is their head coach. Look at the Notre Dame Fighting Irish hat there.
Let's go.
So, Rampart, brother, let's talk about some other things here real fast, man. Overall, who was the biggest bust in NFL history?
I mean, there could be a couple of guys. Obviously the obvious one is Jamarcus Russell. We all know he didn't really work out with the Oakland at the time Raiders. And there's a couple other ones that just been disappointing. I would say EJ Manuel, but at the same time, I don't think EJ really had the help that he needed. You take a guy that's coming out of Florida and you're putting him in a cold winter state. What do you expect the guy to do, honestly? And I hope teams just smarten up and kind of just breathe, brother. It'll all be all right.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And, Timmy's phone, I think, is finally back on. So we're hoping to get him back, because I want to hear his take on some of these things. I think, here we go. The Giants are going to be selected here in a second. But I think overall, the biggest bust has got to be, it might be Ryan Leaf, if you don't say Jamarcus Russell, just because he could have been the first overall pick. But, he didn't want to play for whatever said team, this and that. And obviously, his career was a fucking sham. J.P. Lossman was pretty fucking shitty. You know what I'm saying? And there is no music on right now. So, here we go. The pick is in for the New Jersey Giants, and they are going to be selected 6th overall. This is obviously a regime that has got Joe Schoen, former Buffalo Bills assistant general manager under Brandon Beane, as their new general manager. He took over for last season. They made the playoffs a couple years ago. This last season, obviously, things didn't work out that way. The Giants now are going to, I think, my guess is honestly Malik Neighbors, but then maybe J.J. McCarthy. I just don't know. And this is going to tell us a lot about what the Giants think about Danny Dimes and this and that. But a little quick message from Stevie Johnson, former Bills receiver.
Bills Mafia is Stevie Johnson, and you're in the sit-down with my man Sauce God. Go Bills.
Yeah, here we go. So, here we go with the sixth pick in the 2024 NFL Draft. The New Jersey Giants select wide receiver Malik Neighbors from LSU. So, Bills Mafia, this one is a big one, obviously. We know that Marvin Harrison Jr. is gone. We're not going to get him. We know that Malik Neighbors is gone. We're not going to get him. The two best receivers in this draft, in my opinion, are now off the board, which means, really, there's only a few guys that could be in the Bills' line of sight if they really have a guy that they think is worth trading up for. I don't know. At this point, I thought that one of those two guys were who you're going to maybe possibly try to trade up for. That's, where you get aggressive. I understand that they might need to trade up to get a guy like Brian Thomas Jr., but that to me is not exactly where I don't know if I buy into it just yet. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying I don't buy into it either, but Tyler, Romo Duns is available for anybody that wants to select him. And this kid obviously had some big playmaking ability. He's in the national title. He's a contested catch wizard, some people would say. Titans are on the clock here at number 7. What do you think their biggest need is?
Tennessee Titans need running back now. I mean, I don't think as I would say, the Houston Oilers, are good without running the football. I think that they need a guy, smash mouth running back, that's going to get them over the hump because, you got quarterback like Will Levis over there. You lost A.J. Brown a couple years ago. I don't know if they still have Woods, but, I mean, you got to have a guy that's going to actually give you some production. You can't just keep going with Jermaine Kearse. Like, it's got to happen at some point.
Jermaine Kearse. You can't just have Tim Hasselbeck over there with Jeff Fisher back in the mix. You know what I'm saying? Obviously the Titans got rid of Mike Vrabel, and they are now under a new regime. And this is something that is going to look a lot different for the Tennessee Titans. They had Derrick Henry running the things over there for as far as running back committees go, and now he's not going to be playing for them. He's going to be playing for the Baltimore Ravens. But now you had the DeAndre Hopkins experiment, and it worked kind of well with Will Levis at times. And the AFC South, as much as I think the Texans and the Jaguars are going to run the show there, it's still anybody's game with these young quarterbacks and the way that they are able to win games in the AFC South. They got to give them some credit down there. So I think over here at 7 overall, I don't think that the Titans have to go and get a receiver here per se. I think that they want to get an offensive tackle.
You know who I take? If I'm the Tennessee Titans right now? I am taking Brian Murphy.
Ryan Murphy?
Hook 'em horns.
Why is that?
Because, he's a good 325 D tackle. You need that in the National Football League, and he's a good nose tackle. That's huge for, they run a 3-4. That's huge.
What's crazy to think too, Tyler, is that how different drafts are in the NFL nowadays. Like, you typically would see so many edge rushers right away. And we're not even talking any defensive players here in the top 10 at this moment. We're not talking about a premier defensive back, a premier safety. I mean, a guy like Kyle Hamilton a couple years ago goes to the Ravens at 15. I mean, and look how fucking elite Kyle Hamilton is at the safety position. It's just crazy how different the NFL landscape is. Where, guys like Jamal Adams, goes fucking 4 overall or whatever to the Jets years ago. But now you got quarterback. You got fucking receiver. You don't have running backs. I'm just really, shocked when I look back at, the 2007 NFL draft when I first started watching. Guys like Adrian Peterson, Joe Thomas, you know what I'm saying? All that stuff. And Calvin Johnson, right? But you had Mario Williams, Reggie Bush, just stuff like that. You had running backs in the top picks. Tyler, are you surprised in today's NFL that they don't have running backs that are going, top 10 picks?
No, because... And I'll give you this type of scenario, okay? When I'm at an NFL football game, I can't see what hole that guy's running in. I mean, that's not exciting to me because you can't see. This guy's too big. I can't see around him. You know what I mean? So the most exciting play in football is the pass, right? Everybody wants to go deep, but you have to know how to set it up, and that's the difference.
Exactly. Setting up the pass is, listen, all day. Run it until they stop you.
Mm-hmm.
And if they don't stop you, you either keep going or you fucking set up the play action right then and there. You get them on their feet. You get them outside the pocket. You open up the field. That's why I think the Buffalo Bills have got to find themselves a way to maybe find a way to move up and get this guy Romo Duns if he is as good at contested catches as people say he is, and I've seen it, and I think that he maybe is. I think you need a guy like that when you have a guy like Dalton Kincaid who's going to get everything over the middle for you. Then you got Khalil Shakir who's knifing in and out. You got James Cook who, when you hashtag let James Cook, you'll be all right. I think, are the Bills going to be able to get that done? I don't know. At the moment, I have not heard any news or any sort of rumors or anything like that. We've not heard anything at all. I mean, of course, we're still in the first hour of the NFL draft. It's just about 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in your life. You're in the Sit Down, a sports entertainment show on Facebook, YouTube, and X. And this is presented by Duff Smith's Wings at BuffaloSauceGod.com, hosted by the Sauce God and Ramparts Hockey. And we've seen 3 quarterbacks, obviously. We've seen 2 receivers now. We've seen an offensive tackle. We're waiting for the Tennessee Titans to come on in and make the next pick. But real fast, ladies and gentlemen, I want to make a quick shout out to Mark Lee, the recording artist for the official song of the Sit Down Sauce. And I want to give a quick shout out to my girlfriend Emily, who does the voiceover for the intro on our show. And give a shout out to all my guys over here, Tyler, Timmy, and Gage, for putting in the work, getting the show ready, and bringing all you guys to live coverage and entertainment. Tyler, let's talk about some who will win in the fights. What do you think? Who wins in a fight?
Let's throw this one out there.
No. Lawrence Taylor or Mike Tyson for the last line of coke.
Steve-O.
No, they're gonna trap him. Steve-O, you got coke? Listen, I'll tell you what. Lawrence Taylor is the meanest son of a bitch to ever walk on any sort of athletic competition field or stadium, whatever, because that guy was legit mean. Okay? I mean, he was mean. He was a bad man. But I'll tell you this, too, Mike Tyson, he was once the baddest man on the planet. All right, Tyler, let's talk about this. Coke or Pepsi?
Coke.
Okay. Now, Coca-Cola is obviously the best answer there because, Pepsi just gives me the heartburn and shit. Well, let's talk about some would you rather topics as well. Would you rather a ding sound? No, would you rather have 100 duck-sized elephants or 1 elephant-sized duck?
1 elephant-sized duck, because then it would be like a pony.
You just imagine walking around with 1,000 fucking duck-sized elephants so going, hey, Scooter, Benny,
Chipbirds.
Tito, get back here. You know what I'm saying? Here we go. Let's keep it going, Tyler. And if you got one too, feel free to shout it out. Would you rather smell like garlic or wet dog?
Wet dog.
Yeah, I'd rather smell like garlic because I fucking
no way, because that proves that I'm a loving person if I get the dog out the pond.
Would you rather have horns or a tail?
A tail.
Would you rather have a
Hey, I got one for you.
Go ahead.
Derek Jeter or Kobe Bryant?
They're the same.
You just said that, bro.
They're the same.
All right, I got another one for you, all right? Scottie Pipp or the Washington football team?
Scottie Pippen. Because as he said, as he said in the last dance, he goes, my day will come.
Love that.
Keep it going.
Darryl Waltrip or Dale Earnhardt Sr.?
Darryl Waltrip all fucking day in the fucking Napa Auto Parts car, man. No, is that Michael Waltrip or Darryl? I don't know which Waltrip it is. How about this one? Joe Nemechek or Josh McCown?
Josh McCown, because he can kind of be a player coach, you know what I mean? Joe Nemechek, he was good at face-offs, but other than that, he wasn't really going too well. All right, I got one for you.
All right.
Eli Manning or Phillip Rivers?
By the way, we missed the 7th pick. I'll get to that one in a second. The 7th pick was offensive lineman J.C. Latham from Alabama. So,
hey,
the Titans
can we shut this out real quick? Nick Saban. These are your last boys, fellas.
So, what was your question again?
All right, I got one for you. Shrimp or crab?
Oh, crap. You said Eli Manning or Phillip Rivers?
No.
Eli, obviously. Unless you want to fucking pay child support. With the fucking like 12 kids that Phillip Rivers has.
I got one. The leader for the Cobras in dodgeball or Tyreek Hill?
Freaking naughty. Jordy loves taxis. Would you rather? All right, you gotta pick your partner for who's gonna fight with you against fucking who's gonna fight against 8 other people with you. The guy that wants to go on the fucking roller coaster with the girl in dodgeball or whatever, the little guy, or the dude from Ghostbusters that fucking like with the glasses. You know what I mean?
I'm going Ghostbusters, buddy. I need that vacuum. Keep everything clean up in here.
How about this one? Buster Olney or Adam Schefter?
Adam Schefter, because he's always on time. That's what's most important. You got to be on time.
How about this one? What's the next thing that they got to do to correct something in sports? Obviously, we saw some big news this week where Reggie Bush was reinstated his 2005 Heisman Trophy, which should have never been taken from him in the first place because I don't care what money he got paid, that didn't win him any of those fucking stats or trophies. What do you think the next thing that they need to do in sports to right the ship?
I think, to me, maybe get rid of handicaps in golf. I like that one right there.
Let me tell you what they gotta do. Either you put Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame, or you go back and correct Armando Galarrago's fucking Rob's perfect game for the Detroit Tigers, where obviously, here's the reasons why. I understand that, it happened. No, the umpire afterwards was wrong. Everybody said that it was wrong. Boom. And even it was the final out of the game. It's not like it was in the 7th inning, maybe, or what if. No, it was a fucking perfect game, and that should be corrected in the history books. I definitely think so. So let's get a little round of applause from everybody because the crowd is loving what we're saying here, Rampart. But here we go, the Falcons. The pick is in, man. Is there a chance that they are going to select a quarterback to play behind Kirk Cousins?
Hey, you know what's funny? I know a Falcons fan. I want to shout out my uncle real quick. He's a Falcons fan. You know what I mean? I think, he talks a lot, but it's all right because at the end of the day, you paid Kirk Cousins $80 million. So you got to win with him, right? I mean, I think this is where the D tackle actually goes off the board. I mean, this D tackle, you got a guy. Aaron Donald wasn't picked to the 9th pick in the draft. So you got a guy here that's going to be close to that Aaron Donald build, hook 'em horns. I think he's going to be a great player in this league. And I think if the Falcons, because I'm going to give them, if you want to stop Kamara, you better get some line help because we got Chase Young over here. So what you going to do about it?
Obviously the Saints are, like I
said. Picks too, by the way.
Here's my thing, man. If, let's say the Saints get up there at 14 and J.J. McCarthy is available, do you take him?
I do.
I definitely do too, because I think that the thing that the Saints are lacking is obviously the quarterback position, but I think that would obviously you have other holes to fill too, but I think if you had an actual winning quarterback that, is a franchise quarterback, I love Derek Carr. Believe me, I loved him when he was in Oakland. I believed him when he was a rookie, and he fucking led that team a couple wins, and they sucked. But at the end of the day, he's had injuries. He's had dysfunction in the previous franchise, and he's just not athletically gifted. And he just doesn't have what it takes to win a Super Bowl, I believe, in my opinion. Unless he drastically does something differently and starts moving the ball down the fucking field, then no. But I believe you have to get your guys a quarterback because you have Chris Olave. You have a ton of talent over there. But here we go. The pick is in for the Atlanta Falcons, and they're selecting at number 8. And, of course, the Chicago Bears will select after them. We have in the 2024 NFL Draft, the 8th pick, the Atlanta Falcons select Michael Penix Jr., quarterback from Washington. Wow. Okay. Now, immediately.
Now let's talk about this one here because I think that's the absolute stunner. What can you say? Michael Penix Jr. up at the number 8 position? Wow, dude. I mean, that's unbelievable to think about. I think that changes the whole landscape in the game because now what's Kirk Cousins going to do? Is he going to play Josh McCown? We just talked about him. That's unbelievable to me. That is out of nowhere. That's like Barry Bonds hitting it in the freaking Chiltaki River. Like, come on now. That's crazy, buddy.
It's definitely a bit shocking because I think a lot of people anticipated that if, the next quarterback was going to be J.J. McCarthy. But I think Michael Penix Jr. has showed, obviously, he could play. He was just in the national title game. He was the runner-up for the Heisman, this and that. But he obviously has some injury history. We saw him playing hobbled in the national title game, and that's kind of what made people not want to take him in the top 5 picks. But look at him. I'm seeing he's mobile. He's got the arm. He's got the playmaking ability. And overall, I'm a little shocked here because, Atlanta, they go and get Kirk Cousins. This is kind of a move to me that says Kirk is the guy for right now, but Michael Penix Jr. is the guy that we're going to mold under him. But really, Atlanta they're going to have to find out how to win soon because, if they want to be in the competitive range to win a Super Bowl when Michael Penix Jr.'s time is up, they could be getting close to the end of that rookie contract. But that the 8th overall pick, they select Michael Penix Jr., I'll give that a B- right now just because I think that he's a great player and there's a lot of upside. But after getting Kirk Cousins, it makes me wonder. But now the Bears are selecting at 9th overall after selecting 1st overall and taking Caleb Williams. They're going to pick right here in just a few moments, and their pick is actually already in, which is awesome.
I think they're taking Roma Dunce here. I don't see how you
I honestly think that they're going to go offensive lineman, Tyra. I fully believe that they're going to go offensive lineman. If they don't, then it's got to be Roma Dunce. I don't think that they're going to take a receiver, though. I think that they are set with DJ Moore, Keenan Allen.
Jared Verse is still sitting there from Florida State University. He's a good edge rusher on the side there. You get a good outside linebacker.
Is that there's going to be a lot of players that fall to later picks that are outside of the skill positions and things like that because of the needs and the talent that exists right now. But if the Bears go 9 and they select offensive lineman, Tyra, that means the New Jersey Jets will be selecting at 10. There's people that are talking about that they're going to get a receiver. Dog, why do they got to have great fucking receiver and not do nothing with him? Fucking Garrett Wilson, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if the Jets do that. I think the Jets honestly would be served better if they went defensive player. I say the Jets.
I think the Bears sit right where they're at. I think they're going to take Roma Dunce here. Like I say, I don't know how you can. He's sitting right there. That's going to really give you some receiver power. You're up there in the talks of T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, and Tyler Boyd. I mean, that's the type of receiving core you can have. Yeah, you don't have any line yet, but man, dude, you got to protect that 1st overall pick you just picked in the 1st round of this draft.
Yeah, I think Michael Penix Jr., man, he had a season-ending injury at Indiana in 2018. He tore his right ACL. In 2019, he dislocated his non-throwing shoulder. 2020, tore his right ACL again. 2021, he separated his throwing shoulder. It reminds me of something similar to what Detroit tried to do last year. They selected the kid from Tennessee who was already hurt or whatever, and he's going to play whatever, sit behind him or whatever. Man, this is interesting. I can't believe they took Michael Penix Jr. Tyler. I'm a little shocked here. But if you guys are just now tuning in your life, you're in the Sit Down and Sports and Entertainment Show right here, presented by Duff and the Swings at BuffaloSauceGuy.com on Facebook, X, and Facebook, YouTube, and X. Tyler, man, talk to me. What do you got? What do you want to discuss here as we wait the next pick from the Chicago Bears?
Let's talk about Lindy Ruff going to the Buffalo Sabres here. Because I think me and you both agree. And I like this format here because we get to stay here a long time tonight. We get to talk about the draft, everything. Got to get up at 5. It's all right, buddy. Don't worry about it. We got it.
And but anyway, real fast, we do have the next pick in the draft actually that has just come in, and I think that this one is not going to come as much as a surprise.
Oh.
With the ninth pick of the 2024 NFL Draft, the Chicago Bears select Romo Dunn's wide receiver out of Washington. So, Tyler, immediately we saw teammates go back to back, quarterback and receiver. Quarterback goes to 8, and Romo Dunn's the receiver goes at 9. This guy's got great contested catch ability. He's got good speed. He's got big game experience. Obviously, the Washington team, man, the way that they came out. By the way, we have a trade. The Jets have officially made a trade. We have an update. We have a trade. The Jets have traded the 10th overall pick to the Minnesota Vikings. Oh, it's going to start heating up here. Wow. Tyler, so now we're seeing the Vikings move up. We'll find out what.
So what do you think? Do you think I think they're taking J.J. McCartney here. I think,
Hey, Bobby,
they feel kind of threatened
because on the live. I'm going to send you a link, buddy. You're more than welcome to come in here and talk the draft with us and everything if you want. Join us backstage if you want. So
I think it makes very much sense why the Vikings, hopped over the Jets. I think they're taking McCartney here.
Now, I think as soon as Romo Dunn's, they probably already knew he's gone. I honestly had a feeling the Jets were going to trade out of that spot. I'm curious to see what they get.
I think the Jets could have took J.J. McCartney. I think that's why the Vikings kind of went and got their guy. You know what I mean?
But I don't know if I anticipated. He's bowling right now. Okay, buddy, you got you. But appreciate you for stopping in, man. We're hoping that the Buffalo.
What are you shooting?
Flashes here. Mm-hmm. Yeah, how you shooting there, Bobby? This is Buffalo Bob. I was on his podcast not too long ago, man. He's a good kid. Man, what the fuck happened to Timmy? We had ourselves. Because I'm curious to hear what he has to think about. You know what I mean? But dude, all right. So here's a court. The Vikings are obviously moving up to get a quarterback. It's got to be J.J. McCarthy, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think you got a guy like Justin Jefferson up there. That fits in your window of the 5-year quarterbacks.
He said 370 after 2 games. We'll keep shooting on, brother, and go Bills. And so, Tyler, here we go. As far as I'm concerned, J.J. McCarthy's got to be the guy that they're going to select here. Minnesota moved down from Kirk Cousins. It's going to be curious. I'm curious to see what happens with Justin Jefferson's contract situation because we saw Amon-Ra St. Brown get paid, and he was temporarily the highest paid receiver in the league. And then we saw A.J. Brown get a big extension. Justin Jefferson could be the first $200 million receiver. Who knows? But that's obviously going to make things very difficult. What do you think?
Justin Jefferson deal, you got him. You also have.
So the Jets are now at 11. So they just swap picks?
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
That's hilarious because,
that's what I mean. That's why, I think the Jets could have took.
We're going to take McCarthy unless you, really, really don't want us to.
Yeah, and I think the Jets are going to sit there and take Brock Bowers. I think he's going to be the one to go because you got to think when you're thinking like the Minnesota. I almost said Timberwolves, but the Vikings. When you think about the Minnesota Vikings, I mean, man, you got a guy like Justin Jefferson. You get him that quarterback that he needs. Kirk Cousins, he couldn't get it done for you. The only thing that's got me is they moved on from Dalvin Cook. I think that was a bad move. I don't think they should have, and plus they let him go to the Packers, didn't they? So they should have picked up a guy that they got rid of. And
here's the thing. It makes me just wonder, right? Because they're playing poker over here. There's no way on earth the Jets are going to take J.J. McCarthy. They literally sacrificed everything in their mother for Aaron Rodgers just to tear his fucking Achilles and sit down like a baby throwing a tantrum on the football field against the Bills. But hey, we got to get up there. So what do the Minnesota Vikings do? Hopefully they didn't trade too much because I'll tell you what, if they gave the fucking Jets a first round pick, they're a bunch of assholes, and this is what they'll hear. So, Tyler, the Jets will be picking at 11, and Denver will be picking at 12. When we get the Minnesota pick in, we'll take another brief commercial break, ladies and gentlemen, as we are live here in the sit-down. We're live here in round 1 of the NFL Draft. Rampart, I'm having a great time so far discussing all things related to the NFL Draft and sports itself, man.
Yeah, buddy, we're in here an hour and 25, and we're still going. We're at pick 10 now. We're getting out of the top 10. I really think here, though, the Minnesota Vikings, they're thinking that, they can pay Justin Jefferson because they don't want to let Randy Moss go out the door again. You know what I'm saying? So I think here, you got rid of Dalvin Cook. You should have picked up Aaron Jones. That's the guy that you should have scooped up because now what are you going to do in the running game here? Matheson or, they got a guy like Addison at the wide receiver position too. I think J.J. McCartney is the one here off the board here.
I think Minnesota is kind of trying to put themselves in a position to win now. And if you ask me, I know you said earlier that Jaden Daniels is, in your opinion, the guy that's most ready to go. But if there's a guy that's got, I think, ready to go, it's JJ McCarthy. I mean, you look at it, it's just the experience that he's got, that journeyman kind of, record with Michigan and winning a national title. By the way, quick update on the score for the New York Yankees. They are currently down 3-1 against the Oakland A's as we are heading into the top of the ninth inning in New York. The New York Yankees. By the way, man, the first a couple nights ago, I was able to finally watch the Yankees on Amazon Prime because, of course, if you don't have Spectrum or DirecTV, you can't watch the Yes channel. So I actually got to watch for once, and Aaron Judge and Juan Soto both hit a home run, first time that they've done it as teammates. So far, man, I really believe in the Yankees, and I think that they are, they're ready to win now, but I also still think, you got to do it for 162 games. You don't want to just do it for 30 games. So we are waiting the Minnesota Vikings pick. Tyler here. It's got to be JJ McCarthy. And ladies and gentlemen, if you have any other opinions on that, let us know. But we're here in the sit down. I didn't mean to do that. I think I might have some updates on. Look at JJ McCarthy still just laughing. Like, do you know the draft started? Like, yo, turn the TV on. Like, dog, we're already 10 picks in.
This place is going to go crazy if they take JJ McCartney here. It's in Detroit, Michigan.
The Vikings,
these guys are going to go absolutely bonkers.
We have an update, by the way. The terms of the Vikings-Jets deal, the Vikings sent the 11th and their 129th pick, which is the 4th round, for an 5th rounder to the Jets for 10 and a 6th rounder. So they gave up a 4th round pick and a 5th round pick to move up one spot to go get what they think is going to be the quarterback of the future, per se. We'll see. We are waiting. Come on, man. Bring in the Vikings. Let's make the pick. Everybody's in the war room over there. What's his name? Kevin Costner over there, draft day, Vontae Mack, no matter what. And then Arian Foster was some other dude in that movie too. You know what I mean? So he goes fucking defensive end and running back. He doesn't go with the quarterback.
Shout out to Adam Sandler with his movie Hustle too, because I like that Anthony Edwards.
Bo Cruz?
Oh yeah.
Anthony Edwards, what was his name? Kermit.
Wow, dude. Kirk Cousins is now going to be Josh McCown. What do you think of that, buddy?
Kirk Cousins said he said a few words, and it was just something like this. You like that? That was the last time Kirk Cousins ever said anything that he considered swearing. Kirk Cousins is a little too much on Metagon for my taste, man. You cheat the rules out there. And if you haven't already done so, hit us with a like and a share. We're still here in round 1 of the NFL draft. We've got tons more of the show ahead at us. We are still awaiting more of these picks in the round 1 of the NFL draft, and the Buffalo Bills are still sitting at 28 at the current moment. And Mel's best available, as in Mel Kiper Jr., and Mel Kiper Sr. is definitely proud, is Brock Bowers. And we also have Dallas Turner, edge rusher. We've seen 3 receivers come off the board. We've still got Troy Fautanu, or whatever, guard from Washington.
You got Brian Thomas on the board. I mean, wide receiver LSU. I think he's a huge player. I think he'll be great in the New Orleans Saints offense. So let's get thinking here, buddy. We're coming up on the 11th pick after this one. Minnesota's taking a dog's year because they're still watching the Timberwolves game from last night. So,
hey, here's my thing, though. I don't know if at the moment, with what I've seen, if the Bills are really going to move up at this point. I don't know. I just don't know if they're.
I got to start thinking for me right now, right? Because the Saints are coming up.
Let's think about the Saints then. Let's think about the Saints. At the end of the day, McCarthy gets selected here. It makes things a lot more tough. I don't think you want to use your 14th pick for Bo Nix. So
I ain't taking Bo Nix.
So what position are you going to look at 14 then?
Can we let the 10th pick go off? We're not even out of the top 10 yet.
I know, like, holy fuck, they won't even fucking make this. Come on, Roger. Get on the I-90 and go back to Jamestown on the 86. He fucking hates Western New York. Fuck him. This kid is fucking more entertaining than fucking Roger Goodell. All right,
let's talk about a team that we could talk about that could kind of rival Minnesota and who I kind of think their culture is kind of almost the same.
With the 10th pick in the NFL draft, the Minnesota Vikings select championship quarterback J.J. McCarthy from Michigan.
There we go. So now
All
we
right,
can start
Tyler,
thinking about
we'll be
it,
back
right?
here in just a few moments, ladies and gentlemen. It is a drink break, smoke break, eat break, whatever it may be, but you're live here in the sit down presented by Duff Smith's Wings and BuffaloSauceGuy.com, hosted by the Sauce God and Ramparts Hockey, covering round one of the NFL draft for everybody out there in the NFL and those Mafia. So don't go anywhere, guys, and make sure you stay tuned because we've got a lot more of a show ahead here in the sit down. All right, we're going to be back in here in just a few more seconds, ladies and gentlemen. We are backstage. The Jets officially selected with the 11th pick overall. We're waiting on Rampart. We'll be back in here in just a brief moment. All right, guys, here we go. We are coming back here in just a few more moments, and appreciate everybody. We had some technical issues with the StreamYard interference. But with that being said, we're going to be back and running here in just a few more seconds as Stossgod and Rampart will be back in here to discuss everything that you guys need for round one of the NFL draft. All right, we're back here in the Sit Down, a sports and entertainment show right here on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and X, formerly known as Twitter. And this is available via audio podcast as well on Apple and Spotify podcasts. This is the live version of the show. Of course, we're covering round one of the NFL draft. We have the New Orleans Saints coming up here in just a few seconds as well. So as soon as we get Rampart back in here, we can talk about the New Orleans Saints selecting here at 14. We saw the Jets trade out of the number 10 spot into the 11th spot, and they selected an offensive tackle. And then at 12, we saw the Denver Broncos selected Bo Nix, which, hey, we saw 6 quarterbacks in the top 15 picks. It's freaking crazy. Absolutely crazy. You know what I'm saying? So here we go. We're just waiting on Tyler to get back in here. There he is. Bada bang. All right, so buddy. How crazy! I mean, obviously we had some technical difficulties there for a moment, but Tyler, dude. So let's get back into this conversation, man. You know, your New Orleans Saints are now on the clock. We saw the Jets selected an offensive tackle. Bo Nix at 12. I mean, you shocked?
No, the Broncos are my old man's favorite team, so I'm kind of excited about that. That was kind of what happened. I got a phone call there, but you know, Brock Bowers going off the board. I would have loved him. I think, you know, you take a guy, you got to bolster up that offensive line. So I think you take the left tackle, and I think you just move on with it.
Yeah, I think too. Another thing that you just said is that you got to kind of bolster up that line. But here's the thing about Brock Bowers, man, to the Raiders that I kind of find interesting is the Raiders have had some pretty good pass rushers over the years. You know, drafted some premier pass rushers. You know, Khalil Mack.
They got Christian Wilkins now.
Obviously, Max Crosby. Christian Wilkins now, too, exactly. Max Crosby, I believe, is one of the best edge rushers in the league, too. But Sean Payton is your former head coach. Now, he goes into Denver, and the whole thing with Russell Wilson didn't work. Now, you draft Bo Nix. Do you have, obviously, as Sean Payton being your former coach, bringing you a Super Bowl title, do you have confidence that he's actually turning things around in Denver, or are they going to struggle?
How about we shout out the coach from Friday Night Lights, Coach Taylor? I think that's Eric the guy Taylor? You want to bring up here because honestly, Sean Payton was a great coach. Pearson? He was a strategizer builder is what Sean Payton is. So I think, you know, he's going to be the guy that's, you know, obviously takes Bo Nix there. I kind of seen it coming, but you know, Saints are up on the board, and I think we're going to take. I would love Brian Thomas from LSU. Let's do it, baby.
I mean, so you want to go receiver, huh?
I think it would be a good fit. He's sitting there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree. I think New Orleans obviously is not going to – you're not going to take a quarterback now. You still have some pretty good offensive linemen available, though, too. And that's something
that offense
could also use more of.
Exactly.
But also, too, here's another position that we haven't seen come off the board yet, and it's, in my opinion, a position of importance in the NFL is defensive back. We haven't seen a defensive back come off the board yet.
That's pretty shocking to me, realistically, because I think there's a couple good. The thing is with the league, though, their cornerbacks are already good. That was kind of like the focal point of the draft prior. So I think, you know, I think Brian Thomas is the guy you take here. I think he's just a guy that you can't pass up. I think LSU, bring him back home.
LSU and New Orleans keep it paired together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you guys, it wouldn't hurt. I think. I don't know.
I like it. I like Brian Thomas. I think he's, you know, you just lost a guy, you know, Michael Thomas, and, you know, you need to.
Get him another Thomas.
Yeah, exactly. See what I mean?
All right, well then that's fair to say because
Come on, Dennis Allen. What the hell are you doing?
the New Orleans Saints have about 2.5 minutes left on the clock as they are getting ready to make what is going to be the 14th selection in the NFL draft. Bills Mafia and NFL fans, we are almost halfway through the draft. The entire are rocking. Tyler, am I losing the energy out of you over there?
Oh, yeah, buddy. You know me, dude. I've been up since 5, so.
Exactly. Working your tail off. I think what we should do here is, I don't know how much you think you got. You know you ain't gonna make it to the Bills pick, are you?
Yeah, I am.
You will?
I'm already here.
Good. As long as you can make it, then I'm good. I can make it too. So, of course, like I said, ladies and gentlemen,
Come on.
Commercial breaks variously, but Tyler, man, I think Brian Thomas Jr. would be a great fit for you guys as well. Obviously, it's kind of a guy I think the Bills I'm looking at right now. Obviously, from a Bills fan, but there are some other guys too that I like. Adonai Mitchell out of Texas. You got Xavier Worthy. You also got Keon Coleman from Florida State. The Saints pick is in. I'm really curious to see what the Buffalo Bills are going to do. And part of me as a Bills fan is starting to really believe they're not going to trade up. They're not going to go and try and get a replacement for Stefon Diggs in this draft. They're going to go and fucking try to bolster up some capital. And they're going to try to get themselves in full competitive nature for the coming years. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's going to take with Josh Allen's contract coming up and with shedding the dead money from Stefon Diggs. It's tough. It's tough. But do I still think the Bills are going to be competitive? Fuck yeah. I think they're a playoff team. They're the AFC East favorite. And as long as Josh Allen is that quarterback and as long as they are the team that they are. But, you know, like I said, I saw all three of those guys go off the board of receiver tower, and that's when it started kind of occurring to me that maybe I don't know how aggressive the Bills are going to get. I think that they also believe, and rightfully so, that they have a guy in Dalton Kincaid that is going to be a game plan, you know what I'm saying? And that they like the core of what they've got in offense. But you can't be content with what you got if you haven't gotten over the hump either. I think shedding some dead weight with Stefon Diggs is a tough move. It's necessary, but Mel Kiper looks like he could use a bump. Look at Booger with the orange jacket. What's he, a fucking Syracuse fan today? All right, so Tower. Saints draft Brian Thomas Jr. How many games are the Saints going to win this year?
Weak division. I mean, 7.
Yeah.
You like that answer or not really?
I like that you're being honest, too. I like that answer. By the way, the Yankees have fallen to the Athletics 3-1. Final score. The under has hit.
I'm just waiting to see what picks in here, and we can go on, and I can stop stressing.
Exactly. Like, look at you. Last year, I remember we moved up, and we took Dalton Kincaid, and it was a little shocking to me at first because it's like it didn't come across as the position of need to me. But at the same time, then it's like, well, hold on. Maybe there's something about this kid that makes it a little bit different. It's no fucking O.J. Howard, you know what I'm saying? Saying a throwaway game up in Rochester. And if you guys are just now tuning in, this is the sit-down live draft coverage of round 1 of the 2024 NFL Draft with Sauce Scott and Ramparts Hockey. We've been somehow going here for 2 hours, kicking it in. We've been talking about various things in the world of sports. The Yankees just fell in a loss there. But we have the Saints pick is in. This selection is incoming, ladies and gentlemen. And here we go. It is going to be a
Sit-down is presented by Duff.
offensive tackle from Oregon State.
Thank you, sir.
Fagua.
Thank you, sir.
Well, let me tell you something. I told you offensive line. You said Brian Thomas Jr., you receiver. I believe that you guys got Chris Olave. You don't necessarily want to. You need to bolster up the offensive line because, hey, if Derek Carr is going to be your quarterback this year, then
I love
that, dude. What do you do to make a subpar quarterback better? Give him
6'5", 265. I'll take that, dude. That's a player that can shuffle his feet.
And he's Hawaiian, bro.
Yep, that's it.
That's that Big Island bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So Here you go. He's a big guy, and I said again, you needed offensive linemen. You need to protect Derek Carr. You need to give him time to throw the ball. If he gets time, he can make some plays. He can be efficient, and he can definitely win some games. New Orleans obviously doesn't have their quarterback of the future, so they got to go with the guy that they currently have, and that's Derek Carr, who, like I said, can win games, but you've got to protect him. You've got to give him the time to do so. So I like this pick for you. I think that this is an A- pick, Tyler. I think at 14, you find good value midway through round one. Especially for being available so far to round one, you're definitely you gotta love to get an offensive lineman with this kind of magnitude at that pick right there. So
yeah, we got the Indianapolis Colts here on the clock now. It's kind
formerly known as
of
the Baltimore Colts and then the Cleveland Browns and all that mumbo jumbo, we have the fucking Indianapolis Colts on the clock. Okay, so that is the fourth Oregon State player selected in the first round in the common draft era since 1967. We have the Colts on the clock. They obviously selected Anthony Richardson last year as a top 5 pick in quarterback, with a bright future. He had some injuries last year, but he showed some promise. Colts, I think, they're going through some shit over there. Ever since fucking Tony Dungy and then Jim Caldwell, then you had, Frank Reich was a good coach, I thought, and they fucked that up. Then you bring in Jeff, it's the weekend Saturday, and everybody got pissed off about that. Now what they're doing, it's just you got to be on the outside looking in, Tyler, if you're Indianapolis, because you know exactly how good Houston was last year, and nobody expected that. But they also have a guy on his second year of his contract that looks like a top 5 quarterback in C.J. Stroud. So you're on the outside looking in. What does Indianapolis need the most here?
Well, they also signed Joe Flacco this offseason, so I think they got their quarterback of the future in the Baltimore Browns. But anyways, here we can get back to, Jonathan Taylor, a guy that, Jonathan Taylor can do some things as a bell cow back, because that's exactly what he is. I mean, missed 13 games due to injury, though. That's the thing about these running backs, why these owners don't want to, give them their money, because what if they get injured? It's a hard decision. I think personally, to me, the running back should make money as soon as when he gets drafted, because that's probably going to be, the extent of his career, his first 2 contracts. It's tough being a running back in the league and you got a guy 400 pounds hitting you. Like, I wouldn't want to be tackled by Vince Wilfork. I'm sorry.
No, hell no. And especially since, running back used to not be that way. They were paid well. They were drafted so highly, and it was such an important thing to have a good running back because the NFL was shaped around defense and running. But now you can get a guy in the 4th round and he can give you fucking 30 yards in the game that you need and make a couple catches and whatever. And that's how it works. I mean, a guy like James Cook was a 2nd round pick. You know what I'm saying? Like, the guy had fucking championship experience with Georgia, and look what he's done with the Buffalo Bills. That's how it goes. It's just crazy how the evolution of the game is. When you look at all sports, Tyler, the evolution of sports itself, basketball used to be about fucking having the tallest guy on the court. Now it's all about, can he shoot the 3? You know what I'm saying? It's just different. Baseball used to be about, can he do this, this, and that. Then for a long time was, can he hit a home run? It's like the game is always evolving in sports. But one thing that seems to stay constant is hockey is all about beating people up, bolstering down your defense, and putting the puck in the fucking net. And quit fucking booing your Sabres, Buffalo. Holy shit. You know what I'm saying? So, Tyler, Indianapolis is taking their time here. That makes me kind of believe that there's maybe a call to them that, hey, maybe there's a trade that they're trying to work out, but maybe it didn't go through. At the moment, they're going to be selecting. Then it'll be followed up by Seattle at 16. Jacksonville at 17. Now, I think that's important. Jacksonville last year was a disappointment, obviously. And our guy Kirby from the GameBook, who is actually at a concert right now and unable to make the show, you got to be disappointed if you're Jacksonville. You looked like you had, we're going to take the AFC South. We're going to run with it. We're going to do this, this, and that. And then C.J. Stroud shows up.
They also grabbed a guy like Gabe Davis this offseason. So, I mean, Trevor Lawrence, I think, can do some things with him. Going back to the Colts here, we got Michael Pittman Jr., still making at the wide receiver position. I think they still got DeForest Buckner. I think there's a couple good gems on the Colts. They lost Gardner Minshew this year to.
What a disappointment that Shaq Leonard turned out to be too, with how fucking good he started out.
Yeah, Shaq Leonard. They got a good team over there, so we just gotta, like you said, Seattle. Then we got Jacksonville. So this is a couple good picks in the AFC South.
I mean, these are crucial picks right here. The one thing I'll say though, as much as round 1, is the premier players, this and that. Rounds 2 and 3, that's where you start getting into the guys that are going to come in and start fucking giving you some snaps and trying to really get. Hey, I'll tell you this. Years ago, we had a running back for the Bills named Mike Gillislee out of Florida State. He was pretty, or maybe it wasn't from Florida State. I don't know. But he's solid. All right, the Patriots then fucking, because he was a restricted free agent, made him an offer. Bills didn't match it, so in return they got a 5th-round pick. They used that 5th-round pick to draft none other than All-Pro linebacker Matt Milano. Okay, all I'm saying is you got to do your homework. You got to fucking bolster up. You got to find the guys that are deep in the rounds, because at the end of the day, teams that are fucking drafting 32 are drafting 32 not because they're getting the number 1 pick every year. They're fucking finding ways to make the value of 28 to 32. So that's what the Buffalo Bills are going to have to do. I don't know what the move is for the Buffalo Bills. You need a receiver. You're muted. Tyler, you're muted, brother.
I like a player like Jackson Power Johnson sitting here too, the center position. He's from Oregon. Bo Nix is center, knows the snap counts. Smart player. I mean, your center is your crucial part to your line. He's your quarterback. He touches the ball every play.
And this comes as no surprise, by the way, real fast. We have the 15th pick of the NFL draft is in for the Colts. It is Latu, edge rusher out of UCLA.
He's got good upside. I think he's definitely a good player. I think, oh man, dude, Colts are trying to do something here.
Yeah, the Colts, I think, are realizing, again, they have a quarterback in Anthony Richardson. They've got Michael Pittman. You've got Jonathan Taylor paid, and he's locked up, whatever. But you gotta hunker down what you can, and you gotta find a way to win the game on one side of the ball when you can't necessarily go out there and get the receiver that you want to get in the draft. You got to find other ways to do so. That's what makes the NFL so tough to win, because you've got to find ways to win in 3 phases of the game, not just one. So this is a big pick, I think, for the Colts. I'm curious to see now at 16, the Seattle Seahawks, what they're going to do, Tyler. What do you think their biggest need is?
I think you take the D tackle, because if you go back to their days when they were, the Legion of Boom, 12th man, whatever, they had guys like Chris Averill coming off the pass rusher. They had Michael Bennett. I think the real identity of the Seattle Seahawks is more edge rushing. So I think if Lutu Leu was on the board here, I think they would take him indefinitely.
What I'm curious to see is because Geno Smith, Geno Smith a couple of years ago had a really good season, obviously. Makes some noise. He earns them a big contract, comes back last season, and it's kind of subpar. Pete Carroll now departs. He was your head coach. He's been there. Now you're resetting. But now you're drafting at 16. You're not going to go get the receiver to change things. Maybe. You're also not going to go get the quarterback to change things. I don't think Geno Smith is the guy for them to win the Super Bowl. When you talk about the NFC West, you have the San Francisco 49ers, obviously, that are fucking heavy favorites there. LA finds a way to win games. And then you got the Cardinals, who just got fucking Kyler Murray, a fucking big target with Marvin Harrison Jr., and they also have another first-round pick. So Seattle, Tyler, I think, is really going to have themselves a hard time finding ways to build a Super Bowl team what they currently have. You have the DK Metcalf contract. Geno Smith, I know he's being paid less than top quarterbacks, whatever, but still. Here, I think Seattle has to look defense. You got to look for a superstar, as you said, edge rusher or something like that. Somebody to kind of build the identity defensively around, because I think Seattle has kind of lacked that in recent years. And like you said, they won that Super Bowl in 2014 because Russell Wilson was on a rookie contract. He was a 4th-round pick. Richard Sherman was on a rookie contract. Earl Thomas, rookie contract. Cam Chancellor, all those guys. And that's when you want to win. You know what I'm saying? That's how quickly a window can close. So here we are. The Colts have their pick in, obviously. We have Jacksonville coming up after Seattle. We have Cincinnati. That's an interesting one, too, because we all know that Trey Hendrickson, their defensive end, has requested a trade, and wide receiver T. Higgins requested a trade. Tyler, Jamar Chase, obviously, is going to get paid. Cincinnati had themselves a couple opportunities. Joe Burrow got hurt last year. Sure, this and that. Cincinnati, though, what are they going to do? Are they going to look receiver? Or are they maybe going to trade? Maybe they trade T. Higgins tonight, too. Who knows?
I think you either I think that's the first team that's going to value the running back position because you also left out a guy named Joe Mixon that's now with the Houston Texans. I think he's Joe Mixon and the Texans and what they're doing down there. I mean, they're going to be tough, dude, because you might meet them in the playoffs. So
I really am so curious now what the Bills' plan is because I heard before the draft that there was a chance that they would move up to 20. I thought maybe there was a chance that they move up into the top 12 picks or so, maybe with Denver or with the Giants. Appreciate that subscription, Trucker King 2010. By the way, go Bills on YouTube. Appreciate everybody. If you haven't already done so, hit us with a like and a share. Join us in the comment section. It's round 1 of the NFL draft. We're 15 picks through. We're waiting for number 16. Bills Mafia, we are still on the board at 28. And this is the sit-down presented by Duff's Wings and BuffaloSauceGod.com, hosted by the Sauce God Ramparts Hockey, right here on Facebook and YouTube and X, formerly known as Twitter, available via audio podcast on Apple and Spotify. So
I want to talk about a team here. What are you thinking about the Pittsburgh Steelers here?
That's what I was going to want to get into here next, too, is that I think if a team is really building something over there, that they have a strategic thing set in place. Obviously, you get Russell Wilson on a veteran's minimum because he's getting paid from Denver from being cut. So that boom, you take care of that. You're not paying top quarterback money. Then you got Justin Fields to sit behind him, who obviously could end up being the quarterback of your future. And hey, why not learn from a guy that's got a similar skill set and has proven winning experience and has played at a high level in a lot of years? But you got a TJ Watt, you got fucking some great receivers, you got Minka Fitzpatrick. You've already shed the dead weight of Kenny Pickett because you're not creating confusion as to who's the guy, and do we believe in him? You've already nixed that. And I think the Steelers right now don't need to think about receiver. I think the Steelers, if anything, could start thinking about offensive linemen or trading backwards. Because at this point, what value are you going to find at 20? Is it what you need? I like their tight end Pat Freer move. I think Najee Harris is a good running back. I thought Warren played okay. I think that there's some holes, obviously, defensive line. They could use some help. Maybe they look defensive line. Tyler, what do you think?
I'm looking at the Miami Dolphins here, too. I mean, obviously, you got that receiving threat of, Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. Mostert played great last year, The thing about the Dolphins, though, is they're very, inconsistent away from the Sunshine State. I think the Dolphins definitely need some corner help after losing Xavier Howard. I think he's a huge key piece. Shout out Jordan Poyer, too. So, anyways, let's think about, the Seahawks picks is in here. Geno Smith at the helm. We know that. They got that running back, Walker III. Know that. DK Metcalf, we know what he brings. What do you think the Seahawks do here, realistically?
Well, the Seahawks, I think, are going to have to look at, like I said, some type of defensive player here to make some kind of impact. Even at this point, man, you can find yourself a good linebacker, kind of like that Bobby Wagner type player, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
But
for sure.
Like I said, when you're in the middle of the draft and you don't have that franchise fucking quarterback like a Pat Mahomes or Josh Allen or Joe Burrow or whatever, it's just like it's tough. You want to draft the best available, but then what if you don't need it? It's so tough. There's a 5% chance that Dallas Turner is available at the 16th pick.
How about you think Pittsburgh Steelers drafting Aluma Vensuna from Penn State? I think he's a good guy for him.
Keep it in Pennsylvania, huh?
Yeah, but
maybe.
Not Kenny Pickett. You're not going Pitt.
Yeah.
You're going Penn State. That's different.
True. You're going to State College, huh?
Mountain Lions, baby, roar.
It's going to be an interesting one, but as soon as the pick comes in, ladies and gentlemen, we'll have you updated on that. And then after that, we're going to take a brief commercial break, Tyler, just so I can use the facilities. A little pack of the Bolski and bada bing, and we'll get back into it. So, Tyler, man, this is a draft that has got history made. 6 quarterbacks went in the first round. Actually, 6 quarterbacks went in the fucking top 12 picks.
See, so Seattle picked Jackson. What's his name now? I just seen it. Last year they picked Smith Nigba. So they don't necessarily. I think the best position right now is wide receiver on the board, but we'll see what we do.
They don't need a receiver though. They got DK.
Tyler Lockett, but he's getting older, dude. So you need to start thinking about it.
Yeah. I think overall though, it's gonna be. I'm curious to see what they're gonna do here.
Yeah.
They're showing some air base in South Korea. I want them to make this damn pick so I go pee.
Seattle Seahawks. The pick is in.
The pick has been in. After the Bengals select, by the way, at 19, the Rams will then select, and then we'll be into the 20th pick at the Steelers. And that is where we're going to start getting closer and closer to the Bills Mafia pick at 28. At the moment, Miami will pick at 21. Now I'm curious to see what they do there. 22, the Eagles will be picking. That's also going to be an intriguing one, too, because you're coming here more competitive teams, obviously. The Vikings have another pick, obviously, at 23. Curious to see what they do after selecting a quarterback. And the Seattle Seahawks selection now coming in. Roger Goodell is coming up to the podium, and we're going to make the selection right here. With the 16th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the 12th man and the Seattle Seahawks select Byron Murphy II, defensive tackle out of Texas. Okay, Tyler.
There he goes.
There we go. So another defensive player, and you kind of talked a little bit about the Michael Bennett's that they had, and this is a guy obviously from Texas who played very well. And what do you think of this guy?
I love this pick. I think he went to the right team.
Yeah.
I think he's going to that 12th man. It's cold up there, so old Texas boy, hook 'em horns. By the way, he's going up in the rain up there in Seattle. So we'll see how he adjusts and how he goes in Vancouver.
Amen to that. Now with the now we have the 17th pick coming up in just about. They are on the clock with 9.5 minutes to go. Jacksonville Jaguars will be selecting 17th. We'll be back here in just a brief few moments to keep you guys here informed in round one coverage of the NFL Draft in 2024 right here in the sit-down. The Jacksonville Jaguars have traded the pick, to the Minnesota Vikings. Holy shit. They are aggressive as hell. This is a team that obviously is not giving up Justin Jefferson, but they are going all in. The pick is in already, so we're going to go ahead and stand by and wait for Roger Goodell to come back up to the podium. Tyler, why don't you go ahead and tell these people a little something about the Sabres and Lindy Ruff coming in while I use the facilities.
I wanted to bring in a little pain train here to the sit down. Because I think the addition of Lindy Ruff, what I've wanted to talk about ever since it's really went down. I want you to listen, okay? And listen good. I remember the days of, the Buffalo Sabres with Lindy Ruff. And that's how I wanted them to play hockey. I understand that Lindy Ruff is an older man, but listen to me right now. That man believes in everything that he does. I think Lindy Ruff is, like I say, the Stan Van Gundy of hockey. He's never got that championship. 2007, we got to the Eastern Conference Finals, President's Trophy. Chris Drury got hurt. We all know what happened with Ottawa. Lindy Ruff is a coach that sticks up for his guys. So when you bring in a guy like, Dylan Cousins, and you're like, hey, buddy, I feel like Granado's guy was Dylan Cousins, okay? I think, Middlestat, I love Middlestat. I think he was a wonderful player. I'm just reflecting on the past because this is the off season, so I want to get to a point here.
Here we go.
Lindy Ruff is going to bring culture to that locker room. He's going to make you understand what an honor it is to play in Western New York. Honestly, I mean it's a beautiful place. You know, it's so much culture, dude. Like when you go out to Buffalo, it's all about love, buddy. It's not any other different way. Like if you respect, we respect. So like that's the thing with Buffalo, and I think Don Granato. Don't get me wrong. I've always believed in him, but he couldn't get them to understand. He's not from around here. So he would be more suited to be like a New York Islanders type head coach, a small market still, but more of a city aspect. Like I think that's kind of what he needed. Now, in my opinion, I think I think Renato, it sucks we kind of let him out the door because I think he is a great assistant coach. And I think that's exactly how they would go.
By the way, quick shout out to my Aunt Beth, who is a Bills fan and actually lives near Detroit in Michigan. Shout out to my Aunt Beth. Go Bills.
All right,
Tyler,
anyways, let me get to this point.
Go ahead.
Lindy Ruff is going to bring happiness. He's going to bring experience. And he's going to bring culture to that locker room. So let's go Buffalo.
Amen to that. My guy Rampart Hockey has always got you covered for the Buffalo Sabres there in the world of hockey. But the Cincinnati Bengals are currently on the clock at 18 after the Vikings traded up to draft Dallas Turner, linebacker. And so Vikings are bolstered up. Well, here we go. Cincinnati is now on the clock, and at 18, boom, we're starting to get closer and closer to the Bills Mafia making that selection. So, Tyler, we're going to get closer and closer to the Bills making this pick. Let's take a brief, 1 or 2 minute commercial break, and then let's come back and let's talk about who this or that, like we were doing before, yeah?
Sounds good.
All right. You're hearing the Sit Down, a sports and entertainment show right here covering round 1 of the NFL Draft.
The Sit Down is presented by Duff's Famous Wings, live on Facebook, YouTube, and X.
All right, guys, we'll be back here in just a few moments as we get ready for the Cincinnati Bengals. Don't go anywhere. You're here with Ramparts Hockey at Sauce God in the Sit Down presented by Duff's Famous Wings at BuffaloSauceGod.com. Let's go, baby. All right, let's bring it on back. All right, Tyler. My guy, Ramparts Hockey, welcome back. All right, ladies and gentlemen of Bills Mafia, we appreciate everybody for stopping in. Real fast, let's play this little clip. Oh. So let's talk real fast. Ladies and gentlemen, you're live here in the Sit Down. Your Bills Mafia and Buffalo Sabres coverage, as well as all sports and everything of that nature. We talked about all these draft picks so far. We're halfway through. The Jaguars traded that pick. We have the Cincinnati Bengals now on the clock. Tyler, let's talk real fast. So, what is your favorite championship team of all time from any sport?
Favorite championship team? Oh, easy. Syracuse Orange. 2003.
Okay. Syracuse Orange 2023. So, let me get it real fast. I'm going to tell you my favorite championship of all time, my favorite championship team of all time. I wish I could say a Buffalo Bills team, obviously, but I can't. I wish I could say a Sabres team, but I can't. I'll tell you this much, though. Obviously, I was a very, very young kid when the Yankees were a dynasty in the late 90s leading up to 2000. But I do remember Derek Jeter in the New York Yankees in 2000 and how that made me want to play shortstop, wear the number 2. And I loved Derek Jeter and I loved the Yankees. But the 2009 World Series Yankees team that beat the Phillies in Derek Jeter's final championship win was one of the best experiences I've seen. Because A-Rod obviously came over and was supposed to have higher expectations for what he was going to do. He wins a couple MVPs, this and that, but he never performs well in the postseason and never wins a championship until 2009. He has a great postseason. But it was also led by the core 4 of the Yankees, Mariano Rivera, Derek Jeter, and Andy Pettitte, or Jorge Posada. Like, dude, that's crazy to me. And Alex Rodriguez has a great series. If he's not in that series, they don't win. Hideki Matsui, though, goes off Godzilla, and he wins the World Series MVP. Now, that was the last time the Yankees won a championship, and that was the last time that it really felt like the Yankees had some type of, that Yankee culture that existed with Derek Jeter there for so long. But now it's starting to turn around a little bit. You're seeing Anthony Volpe fucking thriving at shortstop. You're seeing Juan Soto thriving as a New York Yankee. After what people thought was a disappointing year for the San Diego Padres. But, dude, he's given everything that the Yankees would want. Every piece of what makes him a great player. And they're doing all this without their starting pitcher of Garrett Cole. You know what I mean? Like, Nestor Cortez is all right. Carlos Rodon's pitching better. You got all these guys. But it's something that exists with culture that really is what separates the goods from the greats. And Lindy Ruff is going to bring that back to Buffalo because it's something that you got to know what it takes to be here, and you got to know what it takes to love it here. And obviously, we're going to welcome him with open arms. I know there's a lot of fans that are like, "Oh, this is a recycle move. This is whatever." Here's the thing, ladies and gents. You got to understand, not every move's got to be about getting some guy that wasn't there before. Sometimes the guy that you need was the guy that was there before. You know what I'm saying? Tyler, the Bengals pick is in here. I think at the end of the day, you don't need to draft receiver here. There's obviously a need for it if you're going to have to lose T. Higgins or you're going to trade him. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't look like the Bengals are going to lock him up for the foreseeable future, and that means that they would lose him to free agency. That's why sometimes teams are like forced to trade players because you might as well get something for him if you know you're going to lose him.
I'm not sure if he's still sitting there, but I would take Jared Verse, edge rusher for Florida State University.
Okay. So we got the next selection coming in here, and then Tyler and I are going to go into some funnier topics as well. Tyler, appreciate you, man, for sticking on here, man. This has been we've been live here for over 2.5 hours, covering round 1 of the draft, but keeping you guys entertained as always. Make sure you're following and subscribe. By the way, here we go. Amarius Mims, defensive tackle from Georgia, is the Bengals selection. Now, this is interesting. Trey Hendrickson, their defensive end, requested a trade. Now you're getting a defensive tackle. That's not replacing him per se, but you're kind of addressing a similar area. So what do you think of this pick?
They're getting ready for James Cook and Isaiah Pacheco. That's exactly what they're doing with this pick here. I think they're going to be all right, man. Cincinnati Bengals are in good hands when you got Joe Burrow at the helm, so you can't really go any way around it. Good tackle for him. Maybe you move him to the right side. He's going to give Zach Moss a running lane. That's what I mean. They're looking for that Isaiah Pacheco, James Cook type player to block for him, and there he is right there. I think you open up your whole right side of your line with that pick, so I like it.
There were reports before the draft that there was the Bills were trying to make some type of aggressive move to get up there for Marvin Harrison Jr., but obviously nothing transpired with that. So at the moment, Bills Mafia, we are still awaiting, sitting at 28, which is
Now, do you
Okay,
jump the Dolphins?
And personally, I'm okay with waiting as long as I'm waiting for the 32nd pick. You know what I'm saying? The Dolphins pick at 21, and here we go, Tyler. We can talk about this. They might have to look at defensive tackle. They just lost Christian Wilkins. They have Bradley Chubb, their edge rusher. I could see them maybe looking at linebacker, but they got Holland. They got some playmakers over there. Then they had Jordan Poyer at the safety position. They got Jalen Ramsey, defensive back. I don't see them going offensive lineman at 21, but I could definitely see them maybe looking at.
I'm taking Kool-Aid McKinsley if I'm the
Kool-Aid McKinstry.
Yeah,
I hope he doesn't
if
go to
I'm the
Dolphins. I love
Dolphins.
his name.
Well, he's from Alabama too, so he can play in the heat. I would take him.
Yeah, exactly. Roll Tide, you know what I'm saying? So here we go. We have the Bengals draft room shown right now. Everybody's high-fiving. If they don't high-five, is it even a fucking draft? How about the Rams here, Tyler? Picking at 19 after the Bengals, obviously. What is their biggest area of need?
The Rams? I think the Rams. I think they take the center, dude. Take Zach Frazier, West Virginia. I think it would be perfect in the big city, in the big lights, SoFi Stadium. I mean, you're rolling with the earthquakes here.
Wow.
So.
The last time the Rams had a first-round pick was 2016.
They need a lot, buddy.
Dude, they literally traded like, oh, we need Jalen Ramsey, fucking first-round pick. Oh, we need this first-round pick.
Hey, what do you think about this one? What do you think about Sean McDermott and Darvin Ham switching positions?
Oh, God. Coach
I think
LeBron?
he could draw a
Coach
basketball.
LeBron?
Right?
That's like asking me, like, do you want to have Larry Bird announce bingo? Like, no. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'd rather have him shoot threes. You know what I mean? Like, can he rebound? Okay, here we go. So, swapping coaches. All right, let's swap fucking Aaron Boone for fucking John Tortorella.
I got one better. Scotty Bowman or Eric Lindros?
Phil Jackson or Dick Duran?
Rikishi or Brock Lesnar?
How about this one? Kimbo Slice or a Japanese katana? You know, by the way, too, let's also remember this. I mentioned maybe defensive tackles the way the Rams look here, too, because they did lose to retirement. Is it 3 or 4 time defensive player of the year, Aaron Donald?
I don't want to undercut him. I'm sure. I think it's got 3-time defensive player.
First ballot Hall of Famer, Super Bowl champion, fucking
for sure.
One of the most dominant defensive players ever. Did things that you just don't see, taking on double teams as a defensive tackle and putting up stacks like it was nobody's fucking business. Guy fucking traded knives.
Tre'Davious White's on the Rams, huh?
So we have the Rams pick in. We have then Pittsburgh Steelers. Then we have the Miami Dolphins. And then we're going to get closer and closer, dude. I'll tell you what, man. How long these teams take to actually get their pick in, they got to start speeding this fucking draft up, dude. You know why they don't? Because obviously they can get the commercials, the fucking ratings, and all that. Dude, but like, imagine if the draft first round was an hour. I mean, fuck, even 2 hours. At this point, this is ridiculous.
We got about 12 picks to go here, so.
But if you guys haven't done so, you're here in the sit down with Sauce God and Ramparts Hockey. Hit us with a like and a share. And also, if you don't mind, join us here in the comment section. Make sure you're following and you're like and subscribe with your notifications turned on so you don't miss any of the live shows. Don't forget that this show is available via audio podcast after the live version airs. And this will be available via Friday on Apple and Spotify podcasts. Tyler, here we go. Here we go. Roger Goodell's back on stage. He's being booed by everybody except for the LA fans right now.
I think you get Matt Stafford a weapon here.
You get Matt Stafford 11? I think you may try to go and get yourself a fucking Roy Williams.
Need Todd Gurley back. That's what it is.
Jared Verse, edge rusher out of Florida State. And there's another edge rusher coming off the board. A lot of fucking that in the later part of first round, which is something you don't typically see.
That's the new Leonard Floyd. We got it. It's all good.
So basically, they don't replace Aaron Donald defensive tackle position, but they go and address that area on the defensive line. And now we have the Pittsburgh Steelers on the clock with over 7 minutes in their pick awaiting.
I like that pick there, Chop. I think he's going to be a good player.
I think, too, it all depends, man. It all depends on the way that these kids get developed. He played 2019 and 21 at Albany at FCS school, which, hey, that doesn't deter me necessarily. But then what happens here? He goes to Florida State, steps up against some better competition, and look at that's Jaden Daniels right there. Got his ass. Okay. Guy can get to the fucking quarterback, huh? So we still have Brian Thomas Jr. available. We still have Keon Coleman available out of Florida State. There's still some good receivers available. I guess you don't necessarily, if Brian Thomas Jr. is the guy that you want, you're going to probably have to consider moving up still if you're the Buffalo Bills. I mean, obviously we're at 20. I don't anticipate the Steelers taking him, but you never know. But maybe they don't want to go and move up for him, and maybe they just select the receiver that is the best available there. Maybe they have their eyes on a guy. Who knows?
Maybe they take Xavier Worthy here, get another guy like Mike Wallace, remember? Maybe we get a burner.
But how about this, too? Think about this. Gabe Davis, maybe he didn't necessarily put up the stats for a whole season as a wide receiver one, but he had some wide receiver one quota games. In fact, one of the biggest ones ever, and set a record 201 yards and 4 touchdowns against the Kansas City Chiefs in the divisional round 2021 playoffs. But I said right away when we drafted him, I watched his tape against LSU. He played for UCF, and I said that this kid's a steal for a 4th round pick. That's my whole thing. I get conflicted with the draft. Is it's like, all right, I don't. All right, maybe I don't know if I'm sold on Brian Thomas Jr. yet, but yet again, Justin Jefferson was the 20th pick in the 2020 NFL draft. He was selected after Jerry Jeudy and CeeDee Lamb and Henry Ruggs. Okay, so I'm just saying you don't necessarily know what a guy's gonna do until obviously the seasons have played out, and that's the part that makes it tough. So Jared Verse goes from Florida State, goes to the LA Rams. Tyler, 22 Philadelphia is going to be selected. And they obviously locked up A.J. Brown. They locked up Devontae Smith as well just before the draft. What are the Philadelphia Eagles going to be looking to do? I'm guaranteeing they're probably going to look for somebody from Georgia. Am I right?
I'm going to take a guy like Jackson Power Johnson, center position. If I'm the Philadelphia Eagles here, I'm going from Oregon. I mean, that's Chip Kelly's Philadelphia. We'll get her going. I mean, that's perfect replacement for a guy that you just lost. That's huge. That does the New Heights podcast now. So I think this is the greatest option for the Eagles. I like the Pittsburgh Steelers here taking I like Xavier Worthy for him, honestly, here. I think you get a guy, like I said, like Mike Wallace. I think that's a take the top of the defense type player. You need that because, you got your running back in Najee Harris, right? You got Freiermuth in the middle. So, I mean, really, you need that guy. They did great with Mike Wallace. He used to kick return. He used to do a whole bunch of things. He was a dangerous weapon for them. I think, you get a speedster that Justin Fields can develop chemistry with in practice, because obviously he's not going to be playing the game. So I think that's just the biggest thing you look at. Who else is at the receiver position right now? I mean, you got to take something.
So here's the thing too. Also, we got to keep in mind that the Steelers pick is going to be in here soon as well. So ultimately, I guess when it comes to drafting, man, general managers are so. First off, there are general managers that obviously do the drafting, and then there are some head coaches that have general manager abilities that do the drafting. It's all different. Some guys draft what's the best available. The Buffalo Bills, per se, Brandon Beane, I know for a fact, last year they said that they didn't have a ton of first-round grades on a lot of the guys in the draft. That people thought they were going to draft a linebacker, but that's just like not what that they saw analytically for what they wanted. That's why that there was rumors that they might trade back out of the first round because there wasn't going to be somebody there. But no, they end up trading up a couple spots to go get the guy that they wanted in Dalton Kincaid. All right, and it threw some people off. Now, it probably was maybe the best player available at that time in a sense, but also it was an area of need because I think the Buffalo Bills realized that Dawson Knox was not necessarily going to be the type of receiving tight end that they anticipated that he was going to be when they gave him a contract extension. So the Buffalo Bills might not have a guy that's really a first-round grade that they're willing to move up for. Maybe at this point they're cool with going with whatever position. I think that the biggest position to need for the Buffalo Bills is obviously receiver. I mean, Tyler, is there anything that you could say to counter that?
I was just gonna ask you, like, do you think would you be upset if the Bills didn't take a receiver here in this spot?
I would be not upset. I would just wonder what's the plan. You know what I'm saying? Like, because at the end of the day, I don't think that they're gonna, like, all right, they're not tanking this year. Okay, they're not gonna tank. Nobody should get that in their fucking head. But there's a lot of people that believe that they're not going to be trying to be as competitive this year because of the salary cap situation, the dead money from Stefon Diggs, and because of the money that we'll have to spend for next season. And that but at the same time, are you really that far off from getting past the Kansas City Chiefs? I mean, truly, you did it without Stefon Diggs basically anyway at this point. So what can you add to make those chances obviously better for you getting past Kansas City?
I think everybody keeps forgetting they got a guy at the helm, Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen is an absolute. When you have that guy, you always got a chance. So I mean, really, like, well, it's all about what Joe Brady's going to call to get your playmakers open. Because as much as like Ken Dorsey sucked as a offensive coordinator, because I do believe that he was absolutely dog shit at calling plays, he could have still been in the room and been a quarterback coach, maybe got demoted a little bit. It's like, all right, buddy, because I think that was Josh's, like, sanctuary. I think he could go to, Ken Dorsey, be like, hey, buddy, I mean, dang, pal, check this out. Yeah, buddy.
Yep, 275K at the draft. FYI, by the way, John Robert, thank you for tuning in, brother. Hope you're having a great night, and I hope you're as excited for this pick as I am. And Tyler, to go back to your question, I'm not going to be mad if they don't draft a receiver because, again, I wanted one of the three that went in the top, the top 10. And it's just, in my opinion, if you're going to replace a guy like Stefon Diggs, it was one of those three. It could be Brian Thomas Jr., though. I'm not saying it could. And like I said, there is a lot of talent still there. Those were the guys that, like, boom, I felt like that's the kind of person you want.
So let me ask you this now.
You still have other holes
Bills
to fill,
and there's
so
a corner sitting on the board. Are you taking it? Because I think cornerback could be a huge position in need for the Bills as well.
Say. Here's the thing. The Bills locked up Taron Johnson. They still have Kaiir Elam, and I think that they're going to try to figure that out this year, and they could use defensive back. I don't maybe necessarily see them going safety, but like I said, it's areas of need that they have, and they are probably going to try to maybe fill holes with the picks that they have. I just don't know if they necessarily see that. Maybe they see better value in a pick at 28 other than a receiver that might not be your number one overall. Maybe they really do believe in something that they have with Dalton Kincaid and Khalil Shakir and James Cook and Curtis Samuel. I don't think that it doesn't make me feel like gooey inside, but it doesn't make me not believe. And by the way, the Pittsburgh Steelers have selected Troy Fautanu, guard from Washington, another offensive lineman coming off the board, which is something I said that the Steelers had needed, and that was a good area to address. So the Pittsburgh Steelers adding to bolster up that offensive line and getting their guy at the 20th overall pick, and that's going to put the Miami Dolphins on the clock at the 21st pick. So we're here in the sit-down presented by Duff Smith's Wings and BuffaloSauceGuy.com on Facebook, X, and YouTube. And if you're not already doing so, make sure you're subscribed and join us here in the comment section. We're here watching round one of the NFL draft, keeping you guys covered. Tyler, let's go back into some this or that conversation, brother.
Okay.
The fucking... Let's see.
I got one for you.
Go ahead.
Joe Montana or Steve Young?
Oh God, Steve. Joe Montana, because he's got more rings, but Steve Young was. Honestly, he probably would fucking have that many rings too if he was playing that many years, with the Niners. So, Joe Montana, undefeated in the Super Bowl. Fucking dude's a winner. Notre Dame champion as well, right?
Yes, sir.
What do you got for him?
Let's see. Would you rather catch? Would you rather catch a gar or a snakehead?
A snakehead.
I would have done.
How about this? Would you rather LeBron James hit you in the fucking all right, so you're taking it to the chest, right? LeBron James from the baseball mound with a basketball, full strength, or Nolan Ryan throwing a fucking full-on fastball in his prime to your chest. Which one would you rather take?
I think if you would fucking, your ribs would collapse.
If Nolan Ryan hits you, you'd probably honestly fucking fly to the backstop.
Yeah, Leonardo Messi or Ronaldo?
Messi. Wayne Rooney or Great Britain? How about this one? No, how about this one?
Danica Patrick or Haley Deegan?
Fucking Ricky Bobby. Napoleon?
Ice cream?
No. The fucking the Ruhr Frit. Dude, he's pretty badass this time. Napoleon or Elon Musk?
Napoleon.
All right, how about this? General Motors or Hallmark Christmas cards?
Hallmark Christmas cards.
Fuck yeah. American food in Mexico or Mexico food in the country?
Mexico food in their country. I like authentic.
Would you rather watch your team win one Super Bowl, or would you rather watch? No, that's a stupid question. I would obviously want to see that too. How about
Who's
this?
better,
Go ahead.
the Dream Team or Miracle Team?
Miracle Team. Greatest fucking story in sports. How about this one? Willie Mays or Ken Griffey Jr.?
Ken Griffey Jr.
Willie Mays. Even though the most pure swing was Ken Griffey Jr., Willie Mays has some rings.
Yeah.
The Brooklyn Dodgers or Shohei Ohtani's Dodgers?
Taking Brooklyn. They had to deal with Philadelphia.
George
Cincinnati.
Washington or Julius Caesar?
Julius Caesar.
Dinosaurs or cheaper gas? Oh, God. You know that was a good one. Dinosaurs or cheaper gas, you know what I'm saying? By the way, the Miami Dolphins are selecting 21 pick overall here in the 2024 NFL Draft. We're waiting that. And, Tyler, man, I'll tell you what. We are somehow still kicking here. We are keeping you guys live and fully entertained. We're discussing dinosaurs or cheaper gas.
Dolphins pick is in here, so.
Uncooked eggs or overcooked uncooked chicken?
Uncooked eggs.
Yeah, I mean, all day.
All right.
What do you think, Tyra?
All right, let's see.
We've got the Dolphins coming up here, and I just really don't know what they're going to do. I think defensive.
I think they take Kool-Aid McKenzie.
You think they go defensive back?
I think they have to.
All right, we got to change this music up, by the way. This music is throwing my ass off. So the Eagles will select next at 22. The Jaguars will be at 23 after trading that 17th overall pick to the Minnesota Vikings, which I have yet to see the full compensation for that pick, too. But we're live here in the sit down presented by Duff Smith Wings, myself, the Sauce God, and my guy Ramparts Hockey. We had Timmy in here for a brief bit until his phone died. We still have Cooper DeJean, defensive back out of Iowa, who could be the first white defensive. I don't know why people even make this a thing. Could be the first white defensive back drafted in the first round since the light bulb was invented. He's still got Brian Thomas Jr., Xavier Worthy, Graham Barton, Quinyon Mitchell. Now, by the way, people were talking about Keon Coleman to the Bills. His draft stock has been falling in people's some of the recent mocks and stuff like that and best available. So I'm wondering what that's all about. Could I live with a guy like Brian Thomas Jr. or, Xavier Worthy? Maybe. Tyra, what do you think? Who's made the best selection so far today in the NFL draft?
Man, I hate to give him credit. It's kind of like how you gave J.J. McCartney credit earlier, but Michael Penix Jr. for the Falcons was just a showstopper grand slam to me. I think, you're going to give him the time to develop, and essentially Kirk Cousins can teach him everything he knows, and I think that's great for the city of Atlanta. Once upon a time, the Atlanta Thrashers were there. Maximum Affinaginoff, one of my favorite players of all time.
And with the 21st pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Dolphins select none other than the edge rusher out of Penn State, Chop Robinson. So kind of what I was saying, defensive line, that area. Interesting selection as they just signed Bradley Chubb to a big extension. And I know he's injured last year with the ACL at the very end of the year, but still, this is a pick I guess I could see them filling an area of need. They didn't necessarily need to go after an offensive lineman or receiver, obviously. Tyler, what do you make of this pick for the Miami Dolphins?
Chop Robinson, Penn State. Can he play in the heat? That's what I want to know, because it's going to get hot there in August time training camp. He's going to have to hydrate a bunch to play in Miami.
I got to tell you, Tyler, I think the team that made the most noise and has definitely made the best of today is the Minnesota Vikings. They go up and they get their guy at 10, J.J. McCarthy. Everybody kind of thought they were going to really make an aggressive move to get 3 for Jaden Daniels, but nope, they stand tall and they find a way to move up to 10. And, they get over there and place the Jets. No, they got to 11 first before the draft started. Then they get to 10. Then they move up again. And, hey, they find themselves a couple of fucking playmakers out there with J.J. McCarthy now being the quarterback of their future. So I think, too, the Michael Penix Jr. pick was a little shocking per se. But, hey, I like it. I think the guy's a baller. And the injury history is the only thing that slows anybody down from really wanting to take him any higher than that. So, I also think I got to give some credit here, but the Arizona Cardinals staying put at 4 and drafting Marvin Harrison Jr., regardless of who their quarterback is, they got the best player in the draft, in my opinion.
So we got Jacksonville Jaguars up next year after the Philadelphia Eagles. I think they pick right back, almost got a spot here for Jacksonville. I mean, man, dude, that division's getting tougher and tougher.
So now we have the Philadelphia Eagles are on the clock with just over 2 minutes to go on their turn here. So can we get that?
I think they take Jackson Power Johnson.
I think that they're gonna have to. Yeah, he's a center, right?
Yep.
I mean, you got to replace J.C. Kelsey, obviously. We obviously announced before the show started, when the show started, that A.J. Brown was extended, and that's also after Devontae Smith was extended too. So they lost DeAndre Swift, obviously. They got Saquon Barkley. The Eagles have their quarterback in Jalen Hurts. They still have a pretty solid defense with some of the players over there. But the Eagles are not as primed as I thought they were for the year that they played Kansas City in the Super Bowl. And then obviously last year I thought they were going to get back there, and they fell short. They had some things start falling apart at the end of the season. And it makes you wonder what their window is looking like. And it reminds me of something similar to what the Buffalo Bills situation kind of looks like with the paying the player and all this and that. But then again, culture says everything. So we have there's no way Philly's taking a receiver here. If they do, then they better throw for fucking 600 yards.
Philadelphia Eagles select J.J. Redick, the 22 pick in the draft.
Matt Barnes. Get up podcast. You know what I'm saying? Man, we love you guys out there. Appreciate for everybody for stopping in so far. If you haven't already done so, hit that like and share it. Enjoy us here in the comment section. Myself and Rampart are still keeping it going here with the entertainment. Tyler, man, I know you're getting there, but hey, as soon as the Bills get that pick, we're out of here, brother. So the pick is in for the Philadelphia Eagles. We'll announce it as soon as it comes in. After that will be the Jacksonville Jaguars at 23. And that will be followed up by the Dallas Cowboys at 24, which I am really curious as to see what their plan is because, I've heard that they're thinking about getting Zeke Elliott back. I guess that'll work. The Dallas Cowboys is a situation where I just don't know, man. The NFC East is so damn inconsistent that it's like one team can't seem to just fucking rise above and scoop it out. Tyler, what is going to be the Dallas Cowboys' biggest need in round 1 of the NFL draft?
They need to strike oil. I mean, that's all there is to it. They chose to make no moves in the offseason. What did the Cowboys expect?
They stayed put. And, man, I think the Vegas Raiders had a good pick, too, with Brock Bowers, the tight end out of Georgia. Hey. Earlier I mentioned that he was a defensive end. He's a tight end. My bad. Ha! So, Tyler, man, tell me, what is your favorite breakfast food?
Bacon.
Bacon, huh? I gotta say, man, fucking bacon obviously is up there. Like, that's a separate thing. But, man, some shrimp and grits. Even though it ain't necessarily breakfast, brunch.
All right, let me ask you this. Lemonade or orange juice?
Depends on the mood, honestly. Because, like, there's sometimes that obviously orange juice is just that shit. And there's sometimes the lemonade quenches that thirst. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Overall, man, I gotta be honest. The draft is so excruciatingly long sometimes, it feels like, right? The Ravens will be picking 30.
We're coming up on 3 hours.
This is the longest show of the sit-down of all time, and I want to thank everybody so far for the likes, shares, and tuning in, and like my co-host, Rampart Hockey over here. Coverage of the NFL Draft is right here in the sit-down on Facebook, YouTube, and X, formerly known as Twitter. Presented by Duff, Smith Wings and BuffaloSauceGuy.com. The Eagles pick is now. Roger Goodell is heading up to the stage. Myself and Rampart are over here keeping y'all going.
Pick is in for the
So,
Philadelphia
Tyler, as soon as
Eagles.
the Bills do make a pick, brother, we will react to it and we will get the fuck out. All right, guys, here comes the Philadelphia Eagles pick. The pick is in, and with the 22nd pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Eagles will select something after Roger Goodell is done talking about the international thing they're incorporating into the NFL and doing all this PR bullshit. They'll play their first ever game in South America, in Brazil. Yay. That'll be fucking fun for the players that are just going to die in that heat. All right, come on, Roger. Let's go, dude. Detroit's still fucking booming, though, man. Still going strong. I think they go defensive back. I think defensive back or maybe offensive lineman. Maybe.
I like they got Gardner Johnson back, obviously, an ex-Saint. He was one of my favorite players.
Brian Scalabrine.
Peja Stojakovic.
The Eagles select Vince Papale, special teams player.
Nikola Jokic.
Vince Papale, special teams player from, what was it called? Invincible with fucking Mark Wahlberg. Here we go. What they're making the pick from the beach. Quinyon Mitchell, cornerback. That's what I just said. Defensive back out of Toledo. Quinyon Mitchell, defensive back from Toledo, is going to the Philadelphia Eagles at the 22nd pick, and that'll put the Jacksonville Jaguars on the clock at 23. Dallas will be on at 24, and oh crap, it's gonna take a minute.
Oh.
All right, the Jaguars are now officially on the clock. Tyler, I'll tell you what, man. They got 5 minutes until the pick is in. Can they get this ball moving? Green Bay is going to be selected at 25, by the way. And that's an interesting one because what's their plan? Are they going to look receiver?
Come on, Roger.
All right, guys, we're going to take a brief moment to take a brief, another minute break or so, and then come back, and we're going to keep you guys going as much as we can. We're fucking powering on E over here, ladies and gents. Your life here on the sit down, presented by Duff Smith Wings and BuffaloSauce.com. And a quick message from Buffalo Bills great receiver, Stevie Johnson.
Yo, what's good, Bills Mafia? It's Stevie Johnson, and you're in the sit down with my man Sauce God. Go Bills. Yo, what's good, Bills Mafia? It's Stevie Johnson, and you're in the sit down.
All right, guys, we are coming on back. Overlay. Off there. Tyler, can you hear me there, brother?
Yeah, Bill.
All
We
right.
gotta stay locked in here. The Bills are picking in 5 picks.
Hello. There we go. Got it. All right, cool. So we got the Jaguars selection coming in, Tyler. We're getting closer, and there it is. The pick is in for the Jaguars. The wide receiver, Brian Thomas, out of LSU. So Buffalo, Bills Mafia. A guy that I think a lot of people anticipated the Buffalo Bills going after, not being there obviously at 28, and having to move up to get him. Like I said, there were rumors that they could move up to 20, and obviously that would have been good enough to get him in this situation. But the Jaguars going receiver, Tyler. What do you think?
I like it, dude. If Trevor Lawrence is really the guy, you get another young receiver for him. He's going to be an absolute stud for that team, especially on the other side, Gabe Davis. You obviously, you lost your guy, Calvin Ridley. So, this is a good pickup for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think it was a very smart approach. You still got ETN, you got Evan Ingram. You got some weapons down there in North Florida. So we'll see what it brings.
Yeah, I'll tell you this much too, Tyler. What this says is that the Jaguars are always going to fucking be interested in bolstering up as much as they can talent around Trevor Lawrence because they couldn't keep Calvin Ridley. And here's my thing now. For the Bills, maybe they never thought that they were going to need to move. Maybe they never had the intent to want to get Brian Thomas Jr. And maybe they're blowing hope. And that's kind of what the Bills have done in some recent years. Because maybe they have the intention of getting a guy like Xavier Worthy. Who knows? But at this point, the Buffalo Bills will be selecting at 28 and 4 receivers are gone. And those are your 4 top receivers. Hey, your biggest area of need is wide receiver. So maybe now at this point, I'm starting. Unless there's a guy at 28 that the Buffalo absolutely love, there's a good chance they might trade back. What do you think?
Yeah, they could trade back. I don't think it would really hurt. If you don't have your guy on the board here, I don't see why not.
I am shocked. I mean, honestly, like the Buffalo Bills, I never really thought that they were all in on this dude, Brian Thomas Jr. I heard some things that they did like him, but that's all smoke before the draft. You know what I mean? There's nothing ever fucking set in stone. Damn, dude. The Buffalo Bills are not going to draft Brian Thomas Jr. So, Tyler, it is at this point getting close to 11 o'clock at night. You want to keep going until we reach the Bills pick? What do you think?
That's on you.
You know what, dude? It is honestly getting to that point where it's getting so damn drawn out. The Bills did not decide to select any of the top 4 receivers that I thought were in this draft. So, Tyler, why don't we go ahead and sign off right now? And, that way you can get a nice start on your early day tomorrow, me too, as well. But I appreciate you very much. And we will post, obviously, when the Bills do make the selection, and I'll give you a reaction tomorrow on what I think for the Bills if they make the first round selection. But at this point, we are 24th pick for Dallas in round 1 of the 2024 NFL Draft. They're on the clock with Green Bay after at 25, 26 Tampa. The Bills be selected at this moment still at 28. So, hey, stay tuned for more. And we should appreciate everybody for tuning into the sit down right here on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, presented by Duff Wings at BuffaloSauceGuy.com. Also by the Sauce Guy at Ramparts Hockey. Also available via audio podcast the next day after the show airs on Apple Podcasts and Spotify Podcasts. And don't forget to turn those notifications on, so make sure you're following, and subscribed so you don't miss any of the live shows or content coming from us. Over here are the updates for your beloved Buffalo Bills and Buffalo sports. Following us will be the hometown Detroit Lions, Baltimore Ravens, and then, of course, at 31, there will be the San Francisco 49ers and Chiefs at 32 to finish off round 1 of the 2024 NFL Draft. Rounds 2 and 3 will resume tomorrow, and that is where we kind of start bolstering up a little bit more. Rampart, love you very much, brother. Appreciate you for tuning in. And as always, God bless everybody. Go Bills. Stay tuned in and bolster on up. We'll see you next show Thursday in the sit down.